G2 Taxidermy Podcast, edition 6.
6 times we've done this.
Look at us. That's 6 months worth of content.
I know, it's crazy.
Yeah, we got to keep doing it. We're going to miss our next month's recording date, but we'll be back. It doesn't matter to the people. I don't know why we're talking about it.
Yeah.
But it's always good to see you, Sam.
We're going to have a good time.
We always do.
Yeah, we're going to have a really good time.
So far, I think...
We're going to be together on some of that hunt.
I know. If I don't die.
You ain't going to die.
Let's leave it a mystery for the people, you know?
Yeah.
If the episodes all of a sudden just don't release, I got horned.
They know. The Black Death.
The Black Death got me.
The Black Death got you.
Yeah. It's all right, but that'll be fun. We're going to be doing that. Maybe if we're lucky, maybe we'll do a G2 Taxidermy podcast from South Africa.
Ooh. With old Joe Riggle.
Oh, yeah, we got to try to get that done.
That would be cool.
Okay. Yeah, we could try and do that if he's around.
Yeah. No, that
sure.
would be awesome.
Well, cool.
Yeah. So anyhow, this is good. This has been good.
All 5 have been bangers up until now, I feel, so don't fuck it up.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
They have been. And I'm getting some great feedback.
Good taxidermists like it?
They're loving it.
Because I don't get that feedback.
Yeah. No, they're loving it. I get a lot of PMs and, just talking to people, and they're enjoying it. So, it helps people get through their day.
Good. That's awesome. All right.
Something better to listen to than AC/DC, right?
Oh, thank God. Anything but AC/DC.
There you go.
Who's the podcast brought to you by?
It's brought to you by FSI, foam company out of St. Louis, which is trying to, they're more than trying, they're getting deep into our industry. We developed this foam together, and it's the blowing agent is very safe, so it's environmentally friendly, and this company's going big places, and I'm glad to be aboard with them, and I'm glad they're aboard with us.
Yep. Supporting the series, making it a reality. So
yeah.
Shout out to them.
For sure.
The Lord's wife, a.k.a. Leah Chandler's in the business. What's up?
What's up?
How are you? Good to see you.
Thank you.
Thanks for tidying up the place while we're in here recording, blowing hot air.
I know. I was bored, and I was like, man, I got to do something with my hands.
Okay.
So,
Appreciate that. Daddy wasn't around, so...
yeah, Daddy wasn't here.
So I had to make do. Going around the table.
Mark Riffe. I'm in the studio again.
Everybody
Happy
knows
to
Mark
be
Riffe
here.
on the WCB
Excited to do a G2 one.
Yeah.
I've been, obviously, since I'm a taxidermist, I've been super interested in hearing these episodes.
Cool. Good.
You've been enjoying them?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Yep, as soon as I see one pop up, immediately right on, no matter what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thanks, Mark. It's good to see you.
Yeah, good to be here.
We're going to get into it. Going around, we'll just roll right down.
Mike with Cantrall Taxidermy. Excited to be here, and I have been listening to the podcast as well quite a bit.
Thank you.
They've been awesome.
Cool. Thanks.
Thank you.
Across the table.
Jake Evans with Life Taxidermy, and fan of the show.
Thanks, man.
And, loved Sam's last few episodes that he's done with the G2.
It's been fun. So
Cool.
Jake and I go way back. We've been working together just on different projects for, 8-9 years, I guess.
Yep.
Mike and I started kind of getting to know one another just this last year,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
We had a post out there. Actually, I think it was our first episode. We talked about maybe if you bought so many forms, you could come on to the episode. Well, Mike tagged that post and said, how many forms do you got to buy? Well, I went home and I pulled up his account. And, well, he bought enough for sure. So
I'm like, tell me this is retroactive, please. I will call you and place another order if I have to. But.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So when we decided to do this bullshit session, this round table, I had to have him here.
That's awesome.
Worked out really good.
I didn't know that until like this morning. That's how that all happened, which is hilarious and relevant. So thank you. So it worked out.
Side note, I remember the podcast where you were talking about developing the forms the first time. And in there, you just briefly, said we might do a sweet deal if you buy a bunch of them. That's honestly just what led me to call in and place an order. So
yeah.
Well, that's cool.
They've been awesome to mount on, though. Really love them.
Aren't they nice?
Yeah.
They're nice.
Oh, yeah.
What I like about our mannequin is the price. The price is wonderful, but Steve McCready knows what a deer looks like, and he's done all this sculpting work, and they're not snake oil. I mean, these freaking things, they mount up nice. Now they're not for everybody, and there's a lot of brand loyalty in our business, and I get that. I have that. We have people loyal to our brand as well, but the frugal person that really watches his bottom line and knows what deer look like and want a good looking deer, they're mounting on our forms. I mean, and it's on fire. I mean, the community that we're building right now I'm humbled by it. I mean, actually humbled by it. It's that good. So it's going good. And we appreciate all you guys. I mean, we really do. I know both you guys use a lot of our mannequins.
Yeah, thanks for coming in and listening and all that too. So it's going to be fun. So I think I just want to call this episode the Taxidermy BS session.
There you go.
That's what it is.
Because so I think this is worth retouching. I met Mark through taxidermy.
Yeah.
Initially. Do you know that story?
No.
So I used to work a seasonal job, and I went to Joe Meter's game head class, and I always wanted to be a taxidermist. And then I don't even remember, someone wanted a deer measured at your shop.
One of my customers wanted a deer measured and asked if I knew a scorer, and I'm like, I don't really. And he's like, I'll figure it out. I'll look it up online or whatever.
Yeah.
And then he found you and brought the rack out. You scored it, and then brought it back to me, and brought business cards that you had.
Oh, that's okay.
For being a measurer.
Yeah.
And he said, hey, he wants to do an apprenticeship if you're interested. And I'm like, yeah, I'll take help.
Yeah.
Help is good.
So he, gave me your phone number, and we got in touch. And then, you came over when you got laid off, and of course we hit it off right away. And
Yeah.
been buddies ever since. So
Yeah, it's legitimate how that started. And I remember working on that goat thing.
oh yeah,
The, like Texas doll sheep
Yeah,
or whatever the
Texas
fuck it
doll sheep.
was.
Yep,
We're
yep.
mounting that thing, and I'm like, I don't know. Do you remember talking to me like, oh, I'm going to do a podcast thing?
Yep. I said, what's a podcast?
Yeah.
I'm old. I had no idea.
You are fucking old, I
Yeah,
tell
I
you.
am
I
old,
know,
yeah.
yeah.
Almost as old as Sam.
But that's how Mark and I helped Mark for a while when I was laid off, and then went back to work, and then the podcast became like a soul sucker. So then I put all my energy and time into this instead of taxidermy.
Yeah.
But it's cool. It's kind of like tied itself into that. So
It does tie itself together. I mean, we're all, the podcast listeners, the podcast owners, the taxidermists, we're all in this same family. Mm-hmm. We're all chasing the same dream. You know, and it's just different portions of that dream. So
yeah, definitely.
And you've hit a home run. I mean,
Well, thanks.
grand slam home run.
Yeah.
So
Well, thanks, man. This fucking fly is going to drive me nuts. Don't move.
Got him.
There you go.
Got him.
Smoked
Killers kill, baby.
He
What's
didn't
up?
go. He didn't go 20. He didn't go 20.
Jeez.
can go 20.
Got him. First death during a live recording in a while. Yeah, so it's just kind of cool how it all tied in. And then, yeah, legit, Mark and I have been like, you're one of my best friends, man, for going on 10 years.
time, yep.
Next year's our 10th year.
Wow.
So,
Happy anniversary.
I was going to say that.
Wow.
Cute.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember when you first started and you're like, I'm going to do a podcast. And I'm like, I've talked a lot of deer hunting over the years, but how can you talk like hundreds and hundreds of episodes? And I'm like blown away. I mean, it's like, it's so easy once you actually do it. And
it helps if you're dumb.
Well,
Because you just talk.
yeah.
I fit into that. Really.
We're all like looking at each other like, fuck yeah, we're cool and dumb.
And drinking,
Drinking helps,
that helps too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just cool what it all rolled into. So, but when we first got this series rolling for G2, I'm like, oh, dude, first of all, I've been wanting you to do this because obviously it ties into the roots of WCB and how it all got going. But
Right.
I think it'd be so fun to just bullshit. And Sam, you put a post out yesterday in the WCB Facebook group. I figured we could go through this, take our time going through it, and kind of just allow that to like branch into other organic conversation. Anything goes, right? So nothing's off limits.
Nothing's off limits.
Yeah, if you want to go on a crazy political rant, be our guest. You guys are the guests. So yeah, how you feeling about the liberals right now? We can get into that. Mark might have a thing or two to say.
Yeah, you don't want to get me started on that, dude.
Yeah, fucking all of a sudden Alex Jones just crawls out of Mark like Men in Black and just starts. Well, they're turning the frogs gay. It's like, oh shit.
Oh, shoot.
Sam threw this in the group. I'm gonna read exactly how Sam typed it. We at recording a roundtable with 3 taxidermists tomorrow evening.
Hey, we said we were dumb.
Fire off some questions for the bullshit session in the G2 series. Should be a fun, informative episode. A lot of talent will be in the studio at once. And 30 questions in 24 hours is pretty good.
Yeah.
So I figured we'll just rip through them, huh? Not rip through them. Take our time.
Yeah.
Savor the flavor.
Savor the flavor.
Lance Brown, shout out to Lance, hardworking guy, talented dude.
Lance is going to be with us.
Yeah,
He's going to Africa with us.
that's right.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he's going to be videotaping.
And Jordan will be with me.
Oh,
So we're gonna have a powerhouse of video content
yeah.
going down.
We're going to have our own movie.
Basically, to see if there's any goth chicks in South Africa. We'll talk about that later. What are some taxidermy trends and fads that have come and gone? Roughly how many whitetails have you each done? Okay, let's tackle that first part. That's a fun one for me. What are some taxidermy trends and fads that have come and gone? And I'd say that goes back to when you started to now. Any timeline of it's fair game.
I think one of the fads, and I don't know, maybe you guys haven't seen like we have, but the pack mounts.
Yeah.
You guys do a lot of those pack mounts?
Yeah, man.
4 or 5 a year.
Yeah.
Usually.
I mean, that's kind of been a
kind of a newer thing.
yeah,
kind of popped up a few years ago.
A non-traditional, different way to.
Did you pioneer that trend?
No, I wished I would have, but I can't take credit for it.
You are the first person I've seen that did it, and then I feel like it popped up more. But I'm sure out west, right? Somebody probably did them.
You know, I don't know where. Did you guys ever recall where that came from?
I
mean,
saw it online.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same
Yeah, I
here.
don't know who.
I mean,
Who-
Revolution makes the, the little roll that you
Yeah.
can buy.
I'm
I don't
thinking
know
the
if how
first-
long that's.
Oops, sorry. Go ahead.
I don't know how long that's been produced, but
Yeah.
I think Dennis Harrison, or Dennis Harris
Yeah.
is the first one that I
Best
saw.
bears in the business.
Yeah, yeah. I think I saw him probably do one maybe 5 years ago, 6 years
Yeah.
ago, something like that, maybe longer.
I tell you what, he's an incredible artist.
He is. He's unbelievable.
He's a bear guy.
He's a bear guy. I personally don't care for his mouth work and nose work on his bears.
Yeah.
And I don't care for his form selection of heads.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll just throw that out there.
Right.
But he's amazing.
He's done some monster.
I mean, he pulls these
bears.
things off, but he's got a bottom lip that he droops out like a grizzly bear. I mean, he's got, it's almost stylized, but it's his own style.
Right.
And man, he's a tremendous artist.
Yeah. He's in Michigan, right?
Yeah.
I don't even know if he's doing it.
Well,
anymore.
he had some health
right?
issues.
Yeah.
I don't know where that.
Artistry of Wildlife is his.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, he's that big Africa guy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's
Yeah. He's
and I don't know how big his shop is, but man, he puts out a lot of work. This guy works hard.
Yeah, he does.
I mean, hard.
Cape Buffalo looks incredible.
Yeah. Everything he does is incredible. His tout on his bears is the best bears in the business. And they're nice, they're big, they fit.
Dude, that Cape Buffalo pedestal was bad to the bone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, he is,
Might be the
he's
best Cape
unbelievable.
Buffalo. Yeah, okay, I pull
But,
them bears.
but
up.
you're right. That bottom lip is pronounced. And
Yeah, it is.
out
so,
more.
so that's on a grizzly bear or a coastal brown, and they do that. But see, he builds all of that lip line with epoxy, where we're buying a plastic part. Well, he's anti-plastic part. I've seen it on some of his posts.
This is no, still.
I'd say another trend or a fad is that zebra rug that is in the shape of Africa. Over
Those
there.
are good mounts.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
freeze
pictures of
dry.
his dog.
See the upper right corner, Kurt? Pull up that zebra.
Oh, here?
Yeah, they call that a Damasque or something.
Yeah.
Oh, largest Damasque I've ever created. 6x6, working on a 7x7. See, that's beautiful.
This guy's incredible. He does incredible work, and like
Yeah.
I said, I don't know if he's even still alive. I think he is. I haven't heard that he's not.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
But he doesn't have hardly any social media anymore that I've seen, because I used to follow him
Yeah,
pretty
me too. Yeah.
because I like to watch his work. But they call him Air Dennis, Air Harris or something.
yeah.
He mounted a world show piece back when we were youngsters
Right.
of a moose with a bunch of flying wolves coming into this moose, and it was just fucking incredible.
He hasn't posted since 21.
Yeah, he got very ill.
Yeah.
I mean, he almost bit the big one. There's a picture of him.
right there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Look out. Look.
It doesn't even look like the same
Oh,
person.
damn.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully he's still around because he does amazing work. Those Cape Buffalo pedestals are beautiful.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. So people who are doing that kind of work, that's a different taxidermy firms than what you see sitting around this table.
Yeah.
These guys all are chasing that 1% money. So
Yeah.
it's the bigger shop. So he was the small shop chasing that big work.
Right.
So he was the guy out there saying, I do your work. He was selling that venture. I'm the one that does this. It's not a production piece from a production company.
Yeah.
And who he was taking a gouge at was the wildlife gallery.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
I mean, that's who he was swinging at when he was, and anybody that knows the industry, when he's doing that, they know who he's swinging at.
Right.
Yep.
But and what's the wildlife gallery for people who don't know?
They're one of the largest firms probably in the United States. I think there's maybe 2 or 3 great big ones, and they're one of the great big ones.
Yep.
They do some tremendous work, just tremendous work.
Yeah.
What about all right, let's run it back. Fads from on a whitetail, it'd be like the neck mount was like a standard mount forever ago, right? But 70s, or before maybe.
Before.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Just straight, no shoulders.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever mounted one of those?
I have.
How many?
Just one.
I've mounted one.
Just one. They brought it in and had cut the cape in half. I'm like, why get you a new cape? They go, no, we just want a neck mount.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. The infamous neck mount.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like old tavern Western movie type shoulder mount is what I think when I see that.
And then they pick it up and they put her on the internet. Look what Jake did. Man, he did a good job. Jake's like, oh my God.
I didn't
put my name
post
on it.
any pictures of that. Not a one.
It's like, hey man, don't tell anybody I did this.
Make them sign a waiver before they leave.
Yeah.
Yeah, discreet.
Do not put this anywhere.
Yeah.
It's like the old northern head or a musky head. Just a head on it, not
I
the
like
whole,
that.
Not the whole fish. It's cool. I've done some of them, and
Just
they're
the
actually
head?
really cool. Yeah, you just put the head up against like a plaque, and just mount the head. Well, I mean, you got a 45, 50-inch muskie or northern. I mean, you're talking
it's
some
pretty cool.
money.
Really? It's like a fish shoulder mount. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Ashley just did for us a great big flat head, just the head, and we're doing for that Cat Daddy. We're doing his logo with a fish, and then she did a small bullhead that we're actually putting on his diddy pole line for his to take around to trade shows. It's
cool.
It's just a fish shoulder mount. When you say, yeah, I mean, it's cool.
What else? There's got to be some other fads you guys aren't thinking of, or trends, or
I guess a trend. It was always back in the day. Straight mount, straight forward, ears forward.
Upright.
Upright.
Straight up,
Yep.
mounted.
Like just dead straight deer.
Yeah, to me, it just screams, I'm mounted.
Yeah.
They put me up here.
No action.
Do you guys still get a request for that? We do every once in a great while, and it's usually like somebody who's over 70 that wants it.
Yeah, it's like it's the granny panties of the whitetail world.
For the longest time, I mean, the biggest deer I ever did, the guy was just set in stone like that for years and years.
Like multiple
It was like
ones?
a 200-inch deer. No, for years and years, I mean, all the deer I ever took in, over the years, this guy, the biggest deer I ever took in, it was 200-inch deer, 204 or something like that. And he came in and he said, it's got points everywhere. It's got all this cool stuff. And he's like, I want it straight, ears forward, full upright. I'm like, oh God, the biggest deer. You could do so much with that animal.
Yeah.
But he just didn't want to do it.
Did you want to put a plaque on the back too?
No. At least
The
he
old
didn't.
shield.
Walnut.
That's a fad. The old shield.
Yeah.
The
I think
shield
they're
that
cool
goes on-
sometimes.
Yeah.
That's something that we don't do much anymore. I still have a couple clients that have to have that shield on the back, and inevitably we'll scratch that fucking thing or we'll break it. We'll put a screw in, and then we've thrown another $75 out the window. Inevitably.
The state plaques, like the state of Illinois,
The
it's
big
cut
ones.
out in the shape of Iowa or the shape of Illinois State. Or,
Dude, I remember
like that.
being at the Illinois Deer Classic in 2003 or whatever, and being like, that's badass. It's like this whole big gaudy cut out of Illinois. Does anyone get that done where you guys are at, or any state plaques or anything?
We do turkeys with the state plaques.
Yeah, not often.
Not often.
But I mean, how many deer heads do we have in this whole place? And there's not one plaque on any of them. Now, Ross has one. Ross is big,
He
217. It's
He
on a
does.
plaque.
Yeah.
But, he killed that. He probably killed that on the tail end of that trend, like 07, 08, I think he shot that deer.
I think in the 80s it was very much popular to put them on they call them a shield.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
They're classy.
I guess for a long time there, I mean, if you go to the competitions and stuff, a lot of the great taxidermists call them deer on a stick. So you get a octagon base down low that's 8 inches tall, and then you get your tree branch, and then you stick your deer,
Yeah.
on a branch that comes up, and everybody calls them deer on a stick. So that kind of was a trend for a while. And then I guess octagon bases came into the game.
Yeah. We're doing a lot of barrels nowadays.
A lot of people do, barrels.
That's
barrels.
current trend.
Yeah.
Barrels are huge
Wine
right now.
barrels,
Whiskey barrels.
You know? And I like that. I mean, it's pretty classy looking, especially, we have Keaton open them up and build some shelves in them. They can put their sheds on them.
Right.
Now, I don't want to fuck with any of that shit.
The Keaton kills it.
Yeah.
Let him.
Yeah, Keaton does a good job at that.
What's have you guys ever turned down an idea? Have you guys ever been like, nah, I'm not doing that?
I'm not doing anything that shows blood or gore.
Yeah.
I'm not doing the pulling the arrow out of the side of the neck. I'm not doing any of that stuff.
You're not going to do a full mounted guy below a grizzly bear like on that trophy room?
No.
Remind me to pull that up. These guys will shit.
Yeah.
In here. We did. I'll pull it up here in a minute. But,
Yeah.
like you guys ever turn anything down? You're like, I'm not doing that. No.
I did have one where they wanted the arrow with the deer turning back, and he wanted the blood and everything. I said, I'll do the arrow. I'm not doing all the blood. None of that.
Yeah.
So,
It's not a way to depict
I just
something.
I just don't think it's
Yeah.
nothing I want to do. But we do have it requested.
Yeah.
I mean, have you done anything, Mike?
I haven't had anything turned that I've had to turn away other than dogs. So I'm sure we'll get into that at some point.
I've
but
got
yes,
a
we
good,
will.
I mean,
I got a good dog still.
that is by far the most common.
Yeah.
Dogs is the most common turn down.
Yeah, the thing that you're like, just no.
We done one dog, and we'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was quite the experience.
Okay.
How many whitetails have you done? Well, we've done thousands. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, we average, as my shop, the Old Barn was growing, back 12 years ago, I do 100 a year.
Yeah.
So then it went from 100 to 200. Now we do almost 500. I mean, I think we got 468 or something
And
this
that's
year.
just whitetail. I mean, that's
Yeah.
nothing
Not all
else.
the other dumb shit we're bringing you.
No.
Right.
So, I mean, we've literally probably, I would say 3,000 or 4,000.
Gosh.
I would say.
Yeah, I couldn't touch that.
crazy.
Not that many.
Well, you're different operation.
It's
though.
it's a
Right.
different it's a different footprint
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
for sure.
Yeah. What about you guys? Or whoever.
I think the goal is, working out of your garage, one guy. If you can get around 150 to under 200 a year, that's doable. One
manageable,
guy.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
See, that seems so excessive. I would have guessed like 60.
Well, I mean, yeah, I think first year that was basically where I started out was that range, and then right now the goal would be somewhere around 200. But so
Yeah, that's cooking. That's a lot. I feel like.
if you got a guy like Sam shaving them for you, his guys, they come out of the package, they're ready to go. But if you're doing all the tanning yourself, then no, I'd
that changes
cut
it.
that number in half for sure. For sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't feel like that'd be any fun.
Yeah, that's where I was.
It's not.
I did all my own tanning and refused to send it away because you hear horror stories. So I didn't do any of that amount. But then,
We fuck shit up quite regularly.
Yeah.
it's easy to do. I mean, it is. It is.
Well, and then it's like what you have to work with probably varies on such a scale.
Oh,
Like when you get it, a lot of it's probably out of your control anyway.
it's a story down another rabbit hole, but you're 100% right. Pre-COVID, we were tanning for almost 800 taxidermists. Well, we could tell you out of that 800 of them, how many of them was lazy, just by how, we got their product out of the bag. As a tannery, the tannery's the third individual to get hold of that animal. You got a hunter, you got a taxidermist, and then it gets to us. And a lot of times we're the fourth because it comes through the mail to us. Wow. Now, even this time of the year when it's 100 degrees out, occasionally the UPS truck rolls up with a box load of thawed out greasy hides. They're going to slip. I mean, they're just,
what do you do?
Some people just don't have any common sense, Now, post-COVID, we've took a little bit different approach to our tanning. We, as a taxidermy family, have to own a tannery because we do a lot of capes for our own selves. So we have to be able to control that. And Mike's going through that right now. He doesn't have his capes back from his tannery at this time, so he's kind of sitting dead in the water. That's what we were discussing before we got in here. But I can't have that. We have to have. We're scheduled. We have days aging reports. When you bring your deer head in, we can almost tell you by the week when you're going to get your deer back. I mean, we have this scheduled, and it's a huge rolling report, right? So that forces us to have a tannery. Well, we have some really wonderful people that work in that tannery. So, there's 6 of them back there, I believe. So now we got to have enough capes to support 6 families. So, so you start running the math backwards. It's the same business model as Mike down there in his garage. He knows he's got to pay his house payment, his car payment, his insurance. So he can run into that backwards and tell you, well, I got to have 200 deer head to do that. We can do the same thing with the tannery. We know, the profit margin we want to make, how many we have to do a week. Okay. Now we got to do that 52 weeks out of the year. So we've shut our tannery down to half of what it was. I mean, it's a clear different business model today than it was prior to COVID. And we took the people that we really loved to work with, and they stayed with us. And the people that we didn't love to work with, they went ahead and went away.
Gotcha. Okay.
But the tannery thing, it's, like Mark says, it's if you look at the internet, it's a roulette. They call it the tannery roulette. You don't know what you're going to get. Now, with that being said, when we were doing 15,000 hides a year, we might get 75, 80 complaints. I mean, it's very minimal, but it happens.
For the amount you're doing.
Yeah, but it happens. I mean, they're going to slip occasionally. They're going to get false cut. They're going to get holes behind the eye. I mean, all these things are going to happen. So, I was telling these guys, I'm sitting here at 60 years old. I don't want to listen to the hassle. I really didn't even want the tannery 2 years ago. We sat and discussed, going down to just a very small, just to cover ourselves. But, I got enough guys like Jake out there that's depended on us for almost 10 years now that I don't want to let Jake down.
Yeah, right.
And I appreciate that.
Yeah. So we
thank you.
Yeah, we turned all that over to my son, Zachary. He's my oldest boy. And then Trent Laval, he's our lead shaver, and Alyssa Smith, she is basically the general manager. And then we've got a handful of great support people, but they've all been with us for, I think the youngest one there's been there 10 years.
Oh,
I mean,
really?
these people are all veterans, and they do great work. I'm not going to bullshit you. There's people that hate us. I mean,
well, that's every business.
It just is what it is. I mean,
don't shine light on. That's everyone.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
Young people that hate me for saying faggot. There's probably a handful.
There it is.
I'll say it again. What's up?
but there's going to be times they're going to be slipped. There's going to be times they're going to get false cut. I mean, it's all,
There it is.
And I always go back to just what we talked about in one of our prior series. I tell everybody, if anybody says anything, I say, you got to look at my track record.
Yeah.
We were doing 15,000 a year, and we have 75 bad ones. I mean, let's look at this, boys and girls. We have the same process every day, and we have so many checks and balances. It cannot get fucked up in my watch.
Yeah.
It can't. I'm not telling you it won't get cross-checked or cut with a round wheel and a human being, but if that thing slips, it was slipping before it got to me.
Yeah.
And case in point, your guys' work this year, we had Eric's
We
out.
had the worst hot cape circumstances you could have as a crew.
Yeah.
Like,
we got Eric's cape out, and the girls, they get them all prepped, and I was going to mount those live up there at the Iowa show, right? Well, the girls come to me and say, "Hey, Eric's cape's slipping a little bit." Like, fuck. So I roll it around, and it wasn't slipping; it was loose. It was just you put your hand over it, you get hair off of it.
Right.
So I listen to your guys' podcast, but I'm old. I don't remember shit.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't. I just don't remember. Right. So I call Eric. I said, dude, did this by chance lay overnight? Oh, you don't remember that laid overnight in a creek, and we didn't find it till the next day.
Oh, gosh.
Ding, ding,
Like,
ding.
well, well, that's the reason why that happened.
he was making deer tea in that creek.
Yeah. So, I told Eric, I said, I'm not going to mount this at the Iowa show. I'm just not going to have that because, chances are I'm going to get it on that mannequin. We're going to put fans on it. We're going to put the dehumidifier, and we're going to save this thing. But chances are, too, I've got 40 people watch me, and I slide my hands down, and I got 2 hands full of hair. That could happen too, and I wasn't gonna roll the dice on that.
No.
Long story short, his cape is on that deer out here.
Yeah.
It worked out fine.
Yeah. Then you got Austin's next in line.
Yeah.
Austin's buck lay, and it was hot.
Yeah.
Did it slip?
Slipped.
Yeah.
But we saved it.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, you did save it.
We saved it.
You did save it.
No,
Then-
wait, which one are we? No.
Austin's Iowa buck.
The Iowa buck.
No, I think you got a replacement cape.
No, we used.
Did we replace that cape?
I think Ross had a cape. Austin.
No. We did. Ross decided to save that for something. I don't know. Get him in here. I can't remember.
The Lord. Hey, your Iowa buck. Did we keep the original cape?
No.
Ross's.
Ross's.
Okay, so we did do that.
Yeah.
We're talking about how we fucked up all our capes this year.
You guys were horrible this year. You're in charge this year.
You got to shoot him a little
Shoot them better.
So then the girls come to me, just big-eyed, and they're like, half of Kurt's brisket's missing. I said, fuck. I said, I called up the office. I said, did we butcher that deer? Because that's my thought, you know. I wouldn't think my people would skin it wrong, but it happens. I mean, that
For the record,
happens.
I shot my deer really good. He just had a infection.
Well, we didn't butcher it. So then I make the phone call to Kurt. I said, dude, this thing's missing half of the brisket. He said, remember, it had that tumor on it, and I cut around it. Oh, well, thank you. So it was just one thing, you know. But you know, when you're the tannery, you don't have that information.
Exhibit A is just exactly. It's like it's just all out of your control. But I could have been like, if I was a dick customer, I'd been like, what do you mean? That's my biggest buck.
Yeah.
You know, like whatever. So then I could leave a shitty review and no one knows the backstory.
No.
That's every business, everything you do, you know.
You know, the amount of volume that we do work with, and I don't mean volume as a bad word, because we do our best in every one of those pieces of product, but we don't have a lot of bad reviews. I mean, we have a few, but it just happens.
It's the biggest problem in taxidermy is slippage, in my mind.
It is.
You know, that's the one thing you sometimes
Your
can't
asshole
control.
puckers every day.
Yeah. I remember the first one that ever slipped on me. I mean, it's a sick feeling in your stomach when you're a brand new taxidermist and your first one slips and you start, did I do anything?
Yeah.
I didn't do anything different, you know? And
Well, even
oh my God, what
even
did I do?
today, all these years later, you know, we do 200 a week almost, and out of that 200, you're going to have 3 or 4 bad ones.
Yeah.
We still track back those 3 or 4 because anytime any of those people touch any of those hides, it goes on their daily. So I can tell you the day it came in, what freezer it got into, who pulled it out of that freezer, what time he pulled it out of that freezer, when he turned it, when did he first time salt it, when did he second time, when did he third time salt it, when did it go to the humidity trailer, when did it get, you know, and rehydrate. I can tell you all the way through that. So then we look at all this, right? Well, we track our pHs by our vats.
Yeah, there you go.
So, okay, well, this slipped. It was in batch B.
Right.
It was in batch B on Wednesday, January 9th. We can look back. Well, the pH never changed.
Right.
And the salinity was right.
Right.
So something else.
The problem.
It's something else.
Yeah.
So then you call the taxidermy and say, well, I wondered if that was going to make it or not. Well,
Yeah.
That would have been nice to fucking know.
It would be nice to have like some sort of system like in question. Like on a scale of 0 to 10, what are the chances that this cape's perfect? Bad or good,
Yes.
whatever, you know.
Yes.
I do write that down on my check-in sheets a lot of times if there is one, or, you know, when you're making a tag for the bag, you know, you just write on it like questionable or something.
Yeah.
But
That should probably be in, like if you get a customer to drop off a deer, that should be like on the, like fill out the sheet. Like, how would you say that, or you know what I mean? Like a little like section of it. Like on like Pope and Young, like a fair chase affidavit. Did this deer lay in the sun? Did this deer lay in temps for longer than this long?
We
Did this
actually
deer
do that.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Yeah, we do. So, well, and when people bring deer in, they want to tell you their story anyway. You just got to listen. And they'll tell you, oh man, he ran this and then we couldn't find it. And then he went across the creek or whatever. And you're like, huh, as a taxidermist, you should pay attention to those details.
You're like taking notes. You're like,
yeah, I take notes.
Wouldn't have done that. But
Take
all right.
notes. I put it all in there and be like, okay, what day did you kill it? What day did you find it? Did you put it in the freezer right away? Did you go take it? Whatever.
Right.
Was it a processor? You know,
The processor
right on and on ring.
that caped it for you. Did you cape it? You know, we take notes of all of that.
Get it all in the bag.
And that processing thing, that's another thing.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, we own a processing center right there, and so we know how to handle these things. But most of the processes are not taxidermist. And the thing is, you can hang meat for 30 days and 40 degrees. They think that's the same thing with a cape. Well, it is not.
Yeah.
The minute they get that off, they'll wad it in a box and throw it in their cooler. Their cooler's running, 36 to 40 degrees. Might be in there for 2 weeks. Well, I'm telling you what, it is going to slip.
Yeah.
You're going to lose it. It's going to slip, you know, and I don't know.
Yep. Hunter, then the meat processor, then a taxidermist, then maybe to you to the tannery.
Yeah.
It's 4
And,
different.
and UPS
people that
and
handle it.
FedEx in the middle
Yeah,
of that, possibly.
Odds are against it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had deer show up in a Rubbermaid tub. A guy just like cut the whole deer around the body, like sent it in a, half life size. I had the front legs
With the meat and
the
all?
neck, the head, everything, the meat and all. Yep.
Oh,
in
no.
a Rubbermaid tub with 2 bags of ice just melted. So this thing was basically brought to me in a swimming pool.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, yeah, that's not going to work.
Yeah. What about the ones that hang by their legs and throw the ice in the cavity? You get it in the next day in the
I'm
face.
so guilty of that.
Their faces
in the
that
day.
big.
that's an old school.
Yeah.
Like, You know, got to pack it down with ice.
Yep.
Full of water.
I think
Yes.
that question comes up a little later too.
Yeah.
We can get to that. Too.
Okay.
Oh,
All right. Mike Topper. Shout out to Mike Topper, big supporter, good dude. Is there a kit? You did his mount, his big chocolate bear.
Oh yeah.
Sam from Wyoming.
Yeah. He's wanting to come out for a school.
He's the fucking man.
He's a good dude.
Good dude. Good human in general. But he killed that giant chocolate bear. You can see in his profile. He killed that in one of the WCB camps, which is now the Victory Drive Rifle Wyoming bear camp. Looking for 25 if you're interested. Hit up Jacob from Victory Drive. Is there a kit they sell with all the tools and material to start practicing? Not like an Amazon kit, but one with quality. And if so, what would you guys recommend? Would you mind going over all the basic tools and material to mount a standard deer head?
Well, I don't know of a kit.
There's one kit, but probably wouldn't recommend it. I think it comes with that neck mount that we were joking about. But
I hope it does, just for the sake of this.
yeah.
If I was going to start being a taxidermist from scratch, I think the first thing I would do would be get on YouTube
The YouTube.
and just look. There's quite a few decent videos on there
yeah.
that will walk you through. Van Dyke's does have a kit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found a couple of kits last night looking, and
Isn't that Jody Green's?
yeah,
I've seen this kit.
Sorry. There's Mr. Jersey. $141.
What's in it?
but there's no tools.
There's no tools with this.
Oh, I think this is like a when you take his class and mount your own deer kind of thing.
Oh wait, no. Taxidermy for the sportsman, aired on Sportsman Channel. This is not your average hobbyist kit. This whitetail deer kit package contains all the current supplies and instructions available for the taxidermy world. Does it come with tools?
Got a mannequin,
Probably
eyes,
comes
ear
with
liners,
glue.
hide
Oh,
base
here,
paint.
yeah.
Yeah.
No tools.
So
Oh,
no tools.
But the
just
tools
the
could be
kit,
as
got it.
the only thing you really need to mount a deer, in my opinion, is a butter knife. You know,
Yeah.
and
Good, yeah.
yeah, I mean,
Screwdriver.
yeah, a screwdriver, a butter knife.
Right.
You don't need a lot of tools. Some way to scratch that mannequin up so the glue will stick to it. Some clay. I mean, really, I know buddies that I've known for years and years, and they'd say, "Man, if I lose that tool, I couldn't do."
Right. Couldn't do
Well,
taxidermy.
fuck! If I had that tool, I'd lose it in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, I literally got them out with whatever I had looking around my shop and grab. I mean, I'm not married to anything like that.
Well, it's because you can't find it.
I know. I'm
That's
a,
good. He's more useful that
yeah,
way.
I'm a fucking mess. I mean, I am.
it's all right though. My internet.
I think I've bought every tool out of the book.
Yeah.
Don't you
And
think it's kind of like you build your own thing?
Oh, right
and
here.
Love what you
Toolbox
have, you know?
mounting kit. Here's everything you get in the toolbox. Scalpel, blades, ear splitters, scythe blades.
Scythe knife.
Chef knife, yeah.
What's a scythe?
it's got a certain shape to it.
Yeah, it's they were developed for leather for working like
It's a
leather
metal
belts.
handle, and on the end of it, it's got a curve, and you slip a
Oh.
razor blade in it, and you can shave with it.
Oh, okay.
So it's really not
Curved
a lot.
scissors, fleshing cone, lip slot cutter, lip tucker.
Yep. AKA butter knife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I had like a cuticle pusher backer thing that ladies use.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I've taken just pieces of wire, hammer them flat, hit them on a grinder to make a tucking tool, or just put a little curve on
Yeah,
it.
you
That
don't
works
gotta spend a lot of
as
money.
good as anything in the world.
The best eye tucking tool I've ever had is I just take a number 2 pencil, drill a hole in it, and put a needle in it in the
Oh,
front.
yeah.
So you can turn that
idea.
around. That eraser, you can move a lot of skin
yeah.
around,
That's a
and
good
you just
idea.
take that needle on the other side to tuck everything in, and then just take a nice soft paintbrush to manipulate it around.
Good question, Mike.
Yeah, good question.
No neck mount kits. I think they phased those out with the fat. Carrie asks, weirdest thing you've been asked to do taxidermy mount for, and did you do it?
I offered to do one dog. It was a Dalmatian. She just wanted to have the hide, tanned, and
Like a rug or what?
Yeah, like I had said, I had just got done saying no. I honestly thought my friends were pranking me at this point, because it was like the 5th time in a row, and then this lady hits me with the Dalmatian, and I was like, you know what, just let's do it.
Yeah.
But she didn't follow through with it. So
What about you?
I've had some calls for some cats, which
Like house cats?
like house cats. and I'm not going to touch pets, but I think the weirdest one was like an 8-foot bald python or something like that.
To tan it or mount it?
No, they wanted it mounted. And I was like, yeah, no.
Yeah, not fucking. What about you, Mark?
Yeah, mine would be cat too. And I have 2 rules in taxidermy: no pets, no people. That's all. So I couldn't do it. I said,
No people.
if you really want to do it, I'll put you in contact with the pet people. You know,
Yeah.
there's people in this trade that
specialize
in that.
What are they
So
like? What are pet taxidermists
I asked
like?
for a price, and it was like insane. So I told her the price, and she's like, "Okay, no, that cat's not that special."
Yeah.
So I didn't have to do it.
It's $5-6 grand to mount
Or you send it to a freeze dryer, you know, and they'll pop them in the oven. And
Yeah.
Hold on. Come on. Animal family pet preservation, animal and pet taxidermy.
Yeah.
I had a lady.
There's
call
people
and
that
ask me
do
to
it, and
a
they're
chicken.
good at it. A chicken?
A chicken.
Really?
Like, I'm like, fuck yeah, bird, whatever,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
Hey.
And then she went on this tangent about how it was her favorite chicken, and she's like, I don't know if I want to eat her, you know. I'm like, eat that thing. I've never heard from her, so.
I just don't like
Yeah.
thing, dude.
Nope.
No.
I'm sorry, man. I know it's some people's like way of like coping, but
It's weird. Yeah, but when you
It's
said
so
the
fucked up.
Dalmatian, I think
Yeah.
she could have full bodied it, made it realistic.
I would have
Yeah.
rug mounted that
Rug.
thing with its mouth open, dude.
like a bear.
Yeah, like a bear.
Right? Yeah.
See,
Dude,
I
that
don't
freaks me
know.
out.
Yeah, I don't need a sleeping dog.
So years and years ago,
Tired of tripping over it when it was alive. Hold on, let's look at prices and shipping real quick.
Put them on your dashboard.
1
Oh,
pound,
it's unbelievable, dude.
1 pound or less, paid in full upon arrival. Oh, small birds. Oh, what is
Holy
this?
This pricing is
Yeah.
it's expensive.
Yeah.
2 to 6 pounds is $2 grand. 6 to 19 pounds is $2 grand. Wait, what's going on here? What is this? Dogs, cats, rabbits, birds, iguana, and base, $200. At Habitat, $100 chickens by weight, full freezer. Okay, hold on. Bearded dragon, chameleon, gecko, hedgehog, rats and ferrets, snakes and turtles, $750 up to 1 pound. After 1 pound, use cat dog pricing above.
$9.50 for a rat.
Yeah. Right.
So
What the hell?
that's for freeze drying. It says.
Yeah.
Wait, is this soft mounts full articulation?
that's what I did.
Skeletal.
Yeah, Sam's got a good
articulation.
one.
Yeah, I did that.
Oh, skeleton.
Yeah. Yep.
$3,500.
Yeah.
So I had this dude
Go on
call.
vacation. Forget about that fucking cat. What are you doing?
Yeah, I had this dude call me, and he says, "You mount dogs?" And I said, "No, we don't mount dogs." He said, "Well, I got a dog I need to get mounted." He said, "Who do you
You told
recommend?"
this story already,
Yeah.
but you tell it again.
It's crazy. So I give him all these names of people I know do dogs, right? So he calls me like 2 days later and he said, "Dude, I want you to do this dog, and they're not going to do my dog." I said, "Well, you know, you've seen that dog your whole life. You know what it looks like. I don't see it. I don't know what it looks
Yeah.
like." I said, "I'll never get that representation of
Yep.
the dog." He said, "Well, it ain't my dog." I said, "Well, what the fuck are you not wanting to mount your dog?" He says, "It's my mom and dad's dog." He says, "I want to be able to take it to Walmart, put it in my car when it's 100 degrees with the windows up, and see how many times
Right.
the cops get called." I said, and I don't remember the exact dollar amount, but I think I said, "Is that worth $3,000 to you?"
Right.
He said, "Well, you need a deposit." I said, "It's worth $3,000.
Jeez.
Yeah, I'm going to bring it." I said, "Well, I want half down." So this guy shows up, and guys, he was fucking weird. I mean, I have never dealt with anybody. I mean,
Of course he's weird.
This guy was, and come to find out, he was from down by St. Louis, a very wealthy farmer, but a weird, wealthy guy. I mean, very weird. So he drops this dog off, right? And it was Air Bud. What was that? Golden Retriever.
Yeah.
So I sent it back to the tannery. Those guys, they refused. We're not skinning. I said,
no.
just act like it's a fucking coyote. Just skin the son of a bitch, right?
All right.
So anyhow, they skinned it. They tanned it. Everything worked out well. I kept the skull. I made a cast of the skull. And I just put it on the back burner. I was going to wait for my call back before I even dealt with it.
Yeah.
So about a year goes by and he calls me, "How's my dog coming?" Well, we got it tanned. I'm going through the basic deals. He says, "Well, is there any way you could put lighted eyes in it?"
Oh, shit.
Dude, he's been thinking about this thing every day.
Yeah, I said, "Yeah, I could put light eyes." I said, and I don't remember the cost anymore, but I was like, "Is that worth another $500 to you?" Yeah, I want light eyes. He said, "Have you ever seen that soft taxidermy?" Yep. He said, "Can you do that in the soft?" I said, "Of course." Now I'm glowing now because it's getting really fucking easy, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, "Is that worth $500 more to you?" Yeah. So I ended up. I put lighted eyes. I glued LED lights behind the eyes. I wired it to the back. I put a 9-volt battery up underneath its tail with an on-off switch, right
through its butt.
I sculpted my own head, and it looked good. I mean,
you got a picture of it anywhere?
Yeah, now it's just a bear. I mean, it's just like a bear, right? So it looked good. I filled it full of beanbag stuffing, and I put rigid conduit, that flexible rigid conduit in it, so you could articulate around. I sewed it into a dog bed. I put it on the corner, and I bet you 10 out of every 15 people reached down to pet that fucking dog.
Dude, that's good work.
Before he came.
Do you have any pictures of that thing?
I don't, and he loved it. He absolutely loved it. And then I never heard from him again. He paid me in full, and
Wow.
So was it dry tan or was it soft tan?
we dry tanned it.
So it's still articulated.
Yes.
You know, it was
You just move it around.
soft and
Yep. Yep.
how'd you tuck it if it was dry tanned?
Well, you rehydrate the head.
Oh, okay. You
Just
had enough-
rehydrate the head
enough to
because
work
you
with.
got to mount. You got just like you're doing a bear rug.
Yeah.
You rehydrate the head and get it, and then you let it dry back out. This is dry, and you oil it and break it again.
right.
I was going to ask you if you had to.
Yep.
Really
then we just
break it.
sew it back together and fill her full of beanbag.
I just don't. All right. I kind of. All right. What's the back end on the weird taxidermy thing? Like the pet taxidermy thing? Is that it's a grieving thing, right? Like
It's a grieving
They
thing.
want to have it laying in the corner, like it always just laid there in the corner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We just put our dog down. She was 16 years old, and I wouldn't even fathom coming back to my house and my dog sitting in the corner mounted.
I think it's weird.
It's fucked up. Well, then imagine the time you wait 2 years or a year, whatever it is, to get it mounted, and then all of a sudden it's like, you know what I mean? It's like, oh,
Yeah.
Well, it's like your kids' stuffies, you know, eventually they grow up and he's like, well, I gotta throw them away. We can't just throw it away.
You gotta bury it. You gotta have
keep
a
that
burial.
thing forever.
yeah, you gotta have a burial for it. Yeah, that's all fucked. Any other weird stuff besides pets?
Pets are pretty much my weird one.
That's weird, I think, for anybody, right? But it's is it fair to say that all taxidermists have done it long enough, have probably been asked to do some kind of pet or something off the
Oh,
wall?
I'm sure. Yeah.
Sure.
The Dalmatian rug is funny to me, man.
Dude, I was down to try it too. Eventually, I was like, you know what? Just bring it out.
At least it's got a cool
Ask for a
pattern.
rug.
You know, it's not like a chocolate lab. You're just like, yeah, it's brown.
Yeah.
I guess it's not weird, but I did a set of Texas Longhorn
Ooh,
steer
yeah,
antlers or horns one time. And the guy's like, I want them shiny, like shine like gold, like polished. And so I had never done one, so I had to start looking it up. And you get your bench grinder and you get a wheel and the polishing jeweler's rouge that goes on the wheel. And you take these horns and you sand them with 600 grit down to 800 grit down to 1,000 grit. And then by the time you're done, you're polishing them on the wheel. And as soon as you put that jeweler's rouge on that wheel and you touch that horn to that wheel and start moving it back and forth on the grinder, it shines like glass. And you're like, holy
Really?
shit. I mean, it looks wet as can be. It's a cool deal to do. If you
That is cool. You did one of those?
Yeah, I did one of them. So the guy owned a meat locker, and some guy brought him a Texas Longhorn, and he shot it. And the guy didn't want the skull or the horns, so
Yeah.
he kept them, and he brought him. Hey, can you do it? And I'm like,
That's cool.
yeah,
That's kinda
it was
neat.
It was interesting.
That's a cool one.
Yeah.
Didn't someone have a pig when I first started?
Oh
with you?
God, yeah. Okay, there is a weird story. The potbelly pig.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so because I remember when I first started with you, you're like, yeah, here's some of the list of stuff we're going to work on. The pig was one of them.
Right. Yeah. The potbelly pig. Some guy he had to have a potbelly pig. And I'm like, you want open mouth? That's going to be a lot extra. He's like, no, just.
What's $500?
Yeah, I
to
don't
you?
care that much about this pig. Just
Yeah.
give me. So they don't make a form for that. So, mold it, save the head, mold it, and do it yourself. Yeah, I guess I forgot about that. Probably. the
I
weirdest
never
one.
done a potbelly pig.
Yeah. They're weird looking.
What's an animal that like I've only done one of them or whatever, like one that's not common? If we're not into the weird shit, what's like an uncommon one you've done?
Mouflon sheep was my first one that was like not a deer.
Yeah.
And after I did it, I was like, this is great. The hair covers everything. Like you can't even,
Yeah.
it just looks great. It looks like sheep.
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
I've got a razorback in the freezer I got to do.
That'll
So,
be fun.
Yep.
Yeah.
I like doing pigs. They're
I love
cool.
they're easy.
Yeah, they are easy. I love doing pigs. They're one of my favorites.
I have a Texas boar down at I couldn't remember the name. I can never remember the name of the taxidermist. Webblers or something like that. Weeblers,
I don't
Webblers.
remember you called me about it.
Down in Kingsville, Texas.
Yeah.
I killed a hog down there on a ranch. And I'm like, I've always wanted like that classic open mouth boar mount. Mm-hmm. And I was gonna be like, hey Sam, I'm gonna have this, but I'm like, Sam don't want to fuck with this. Like, we're bombarding him. So I just dropped it off the taxidermist down there. So I had it Euroed and I'm having it shoulder mounted, and I'm like regretting it because it's so expensive.
I was gonna say, isn't it different down there as far as pricing goes?
We're right by a very well-to-do ranch.
Yeah.
And they're at very well-to-do prices. And I saw it, I'm like, fuck, it's like $1,500.
Really? When I first started, I had a lady bring me a little black mink, and it had been hit by a car. And she's like, oh, it looks like it's in great shape. I think maybe it just ran its head into the side of the tire. I could skin it out. It had like 37 holes in it. I'm like, oh, God. But it was cool. It was a neat little mink, you know.
You mounted it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, sewed all them holes back up, mounted them. But furred animals are easy to sew. You know, you don't see. A deer can be hard to sew because their hair is, you know, even in the same length at certain places. But
if there's like a cut, you can. Yeah, it's hard to.
But furred animals are easy, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's a fun one. The weird taxidermy thing is fun. You know, like I think I've referenced this one every episode. I call it hot chick taxidermy now, European hot chick taxidermy. Mm-hmm. It's just like European weird shit that you know what I'm talking about, right?
Well, you get the girls on taxidermy pages with purple and green hair. And they mount mice and they dress in their clothes.
Possums.
They make little houses. And
what is there a genre for that? What's it called? I need the name. I've just been calling it hot goth chick taxidermy.
What do they call it?
I don't know.
What do they call that?
Bedazzling, you know.
It's like
a Euro mount or whatever.
Yeah. Who's the gal in California that dresses like a, you know, the model on the side of the airplane? You know what I'm saying?
Pinup?
The pinup girl.
Oh, a pinup girl.
Remember she was at the World Show 2 or 3 years ago, and they had a TV crew following her around.
Yes, I do know who you're talking about.
She mounts like parakeets. And
What is her name?
She sounds fun. Let's Google her.
I was friends with her on Facebook for a number of years.
California parakeet.
She's disappeared now, like on Facebook.
Oh, no.
Oh, really?
What is
California.
Yeah, she gave me shit one time, actually, because I was like, somebody posted mice and rats all in a little dollhouse all mounted up and everything. And I said, why is it always a girl with purple hair? And she's like, I mean,
is it this chick? Oh, that's
yes, that's her.
Where is it?
Isn't that her?
Yeah.
That might not be.
Oh, maybe. Her. Yeah, no, I think it's not.
No.
I don't think it is. Nope.
It's somebody wanting to be her.
Yeah.
'Cause it's the exact same look.
Yeah. This girl, was she covered in tattoos too?
I thought so.
I remember right.
she's in a cemetery scouting birds. What the fuck?
As soon as I would see her name, I
So
would
metal.
know.
Yeah, that's a fucking new metal. I bet she listens to Five Finger Death Punch.
That's not her. This girl was extremely gorgeous, and she.
Yeah. I don't know who you're talking about. I just cannot think of her name. I want to say Kate something.
I don't remember. I think she was from like.
She was definitely
like San Francisco.
She was definitely from California.
Her?
I think.
Yes,
you're right.
that's her.
Allison Dottie?
No, I don't think so.
Come on, guys.
I'll know her name if you.
Guys.
There was a whole group of them that would hang out at the World Show.
Yeah. Yes.
Dang, I'm sure to go to this fucking world show. Morgue Maid, what up? Morgue Maid Taxidermy and Oddities.
Okay.
Yeah, she was probably with them at the show.
A dog.
Dude, I love this. Is the fun part that real taxidermists don't give a fuck about, I feel like, but I'm all like into it.
Yeah.
This shit. Yeah. That's like the hot white chick taxidermy I'm talking about. And then it's all bad.
I was gonna say, look at that cat.
Yeah.
It's got a blue ribbon.
What ribbon for what?
Right.
And her genre? I mean, bless their hearts, you know, they're doing their best.
She's
But
doing
She's
it.
trying.
Look at what is that?
nothing says taxidermy like a
hermit crab?
Hermit crab.
Look at that. She put it on like a doll.
Oh yeah, that's a
thing.
porcupine head, right?
See, that's what I'm saying. There's got to be a genre for this.
With the teddy bear dress on.
Yeah. It's like putting pins in it. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
But
she does okay work.
You know what I'm saying, though, right? Like my genre makes sense. Like, okay, what are we doing?
Oh, that's wild.
We can mount your baby.
Yeah.
Dog.
I guess another fad would like freeze drying kind of was a fad back in the day, and then dry preservatives.
Yeah.
Was it rub on tan? That was a fad that's kind of passed.
I love this shit.
That is creepy as hell.
It's like
look at
satanic goats.
hands and shit.
Yeah, with a sickle.
Sickle.
That's a good time, man. You want to talk about some fun people? That's what you get into. But
I bet they're fun to party.
is it this chick?
Oh yeah.
I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
No, that's the same girl.
No, that's not her. I'll know her if I see her. I guarantee it.
She's from Florida.
No, she's in California. And
I
like
feel
you
like
said,
a lot of these
San
girls would live in
Francisco.
California, though.
Yeah. Oh
You
yeah.
know?
Oh yeah.
You'll be
She
searching
was-
for days.
I don't even know what to Google. Yeah, I'm gonna give up on that one. Bless her heart, she's out there somewhere.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
I don't remember her name.
Yeah.
She was a good taxidermist.
She was. Yeah. She was actually. Yeah.
Most of those girls are good.
Yeah.
Girls in general are better taxidermists than guys,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Depends on what category they fall into.
Yeah.
Jenna Everidge is amazing. at
She's
cats.
best in the world.
Best in the world. Yeah. She's unbelievable.
Tristan Moss. Let's say you never had any taxidermy done. What can you do as a hunter to help the taxidermist give you the best result possible?
Well, don't leave a lay in the water overnight.
Right.
Don't shoot them with tumors.
Yeah. Don't shoot it in the neck with a raged broadhead.
Yeah.
We get this question a lot. A lot of phone calls that I get are from hunters who haven't even went on their hunt yet, asking me this question.
Yeah.
So this is a really great question. Really great question.
Of course, none of us can answer it.
I mean,
Yeah, I
if
was gonna
somebody, I guess would tell guys that would go out west or go to Africa or something, get measurements. Here, I'll print you a measurement sheet. If you can at least get a nose to eye, a neck measurement, especially if it's a life size, a lot of them won't take the time to do that because that's a lot of work. But if you can, and tell them, go over like what kind of pose you think you might want. That way, do I do a dorsal cut? Where am I cutting this animal? So, give them a tip on where to cut it depending on what pose they might want.
Clean and cool.
Yeah.
Simple, obvious, but maybe not so obvious. Clean and cool.
Water, temperature, and bacteria like blood are the worst things that are going to make your hide slip. So I've had people go out west and they salt a bear, roll it up, and then when I'm skinning it out, it's all salted and just pulling all the moisture out of the hide on my table while I'm salting it. I'd rather have you not salt that. And that's my personal preference. I may be wrong.
No.
You guys might all do something different. But
Another thing with bears is we see it so much where they roll them up and put them in a bag. And they'll roll it, nose in and put it in a bag. And all they're doing is they're building insulation around the face.
Yep.
So, that never freezes.
Yeah.
They put it in the freezer. It all freezes on the outside. But again, even if it's 40 degrees in there, it's decaying. So then, we unthaw it. And when it's rolled up tight, it unthaws longer. It takes longer to unthaw.
Yeah.
So I tell everybody, avoid a black plastic garbage bag at all costs because that just does nothing but promote heat. I would prefer them to have like a seed bag or
something kind breathable.
Yeah, something that'll breathe. And then never roll anything up. Drop it in the bag. Just drop it in. It's going to thaw quicker. It's going to freeze more consistently.
So something I did in bear camp, my first bear, and this might make you guys cringe, but this is what I did. Because I call every time I'm out west, I call you bitching about what do I do? I'm scared. This thing's gonna slip. But like we had him hanging over a pole, let air getting around him, so it air out, and it's dry.
That's perfect.
It's dry up there. Well, it got warm one day, and the sun got on him, so we took him down, and there was like up there that time in Wyoming, we're up high. There's frozen snow. That's kind of hard snow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was in the shade underneath the pine. We laid it down, skin down, and let him cool off for a couple hours. But it wasn't like wet because the hide was cool already. And then once the sun went down, then we put him back on the buck pole.
Yeah, no, you did perfect. I tell everybody, you cannot kill them nice.
yeah.
And you can't control where you're at when you kill them.
If you could just get down there and choke out a bear,
Yeah.
then you'd be in the money. And then skin them and get them on ice right away.
Yeah, don't a lot of people hang their deer at home and they'll take the garden hose and they'll spray the whole entire deer. Inside of the cavity maybe is okay. Don't spray the hair and soak the deer down wet. I guess that would be one. I guess for other animals like birds or fish maybe, back in the day everybody's like, oh well I just put it in like brown lunch sacks, like paper bags, or everybody wants to wrap a fish in newspaper. Well, newspaper sucks the moisture out of an animal. So Go away from the newspaper thing. Everybody wants to slip a pheasant in like an old, like women's hose that they wear on their legs. They want to slide them in that.
Huge no.
Yeah, don't just
And that has been standard operational procedures for years, and it's the worst possible thing. You're just smashing all of that and imprinting it. Yeah. We just had a turkey come in from one of my great customers. I love this kid, and he travels all over. And he brought his turkey and stuffed in a girl's hose. And he was so happy that he did it, I didn't have the heart to tell him. He's going to know now because he's going to know exactly what I'm talking about.
Fucked up, man.
You can damage feathers. You know, feather tips get caught in the hose material, and just so there's like some old things that everybody says. Oh, wrap that fish in newspaper, or slide them in a pair of pantyhose, a bird, or whatever. But actually, the best way to do fish would be to get a towel, get it wet, wring it out, lay the fish out, put your fins down nicely, fold the towel up gently, and then put it in a bag. Because for a fish, for example, if you can get that towel to freeze and turn into a block of ice around the fish, it protects it from dehydrating or freeze drying, So I guess what else?
I mean, just use common sense. I'm glad you brought up the rolling, because we get a lot of people that go to, I don't know, wherever, Western Hunts or whatever. I got this cape, and I got it in the freezer. How do I get it to you? I'm like, how did you freeze it? I always ask, how is it frozen?
Yeah.
Oh, I rolled it up and it's in a bag. Okay. Did you cool it off before you rolled it up? Yeah, my guy did that. And I always get that. I always mark it on the paper because
they don't actually know, probably.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah. They'll probably know, because all you're doing is, like Sam said, you're preserving heat, and heat is bad. We don't want to. Don't just plop it in a bag. Don't overthink it.
The worst one I ever had clean in my shop. It was a huge, like a 650-pound bear from Alaska, and the guy was up there in Alaska. He bought a Coleman cooler. He stuffed this bear into this cooler and left the door open on the cooler and put the cooler inside the freezer. Well, all he did was insulate 6 sides of this thing.
Yeah.
It never froze, and by the time they got air freighted to St. Louis, got to me, I opened it up. I near vomited. I called him and I said, this ain't going to work. He said, can you try? I said, no, it is not going to work.
Oh, what a heartbreak.
Yeah, I mean, just this is great stuff, and maybe we should be more diligent as a community on Facebook, on the social media groups before hunting season, and do some of these videos. And hopefully, I know a lot of hunters are going to listen to this, but, the more we can educate them, don't leave the deer in the back of the truck and drive around for a day.
Yeah, showing all your buddies.
Get your hero pics, get that thing cold.
If you're skinning it out yourself or you're caping it out yourself, do the due diligence to look up the videos. Don't cut up the armpits. Don't slit the throat.
Buckstorm has a good video on how to cape out a head.
Yeah, there's all kinds of videos out there to learn to do it right if you're going to do it yourself. Another bad one that we kind of talked about earlier, off air, I believe it was, hanging your deer upside down and then filling the chest cavity with bags of ice.
Yeah, no, we did talk about on here.
Did we? Okay, and then letting it melt, and then all that water goes down the neck into the face of the deer. I mean, I've seen deer that their face is so fat and swollen when they come in. Their face is 3 times the size of a normal deer.
It's full of water.
And it's full of water. So all that water is sitting down in there, and then when I'm skinning that on my countertop, it's just pouring and leaking water in your towels and napkins. And so water, bad deal, warmth, moisture.
And with that said, sometimes they make it.
Yeah.
I mean, you're rolling. Now you are playing roulette with it.
Yeah.
I mean, slide her all up on the cum line and throw the dice. I mean,
so
it is what it is.
For deer, quick, clean, dry, cool.
Yeah.
And don't drag them.
Yeah, don't drag them.
Don't drag them.
Over logs.
Get a deer sled.
Yep.
Get a sled.
Yep.
Get a tarp.
Mess their hair up.
Okay.
Yep. I mean, I know people that don't even, I've hung deer when I shoot bucks, I hang them by their antlers. I tie a rope around, pull their antlers, weave it through, tie a slip knot, hang them by their antlers. And I've had so many people say, why are you doing that? You're not going to break their antlers? I'm like, have you seen them fight?
Yeah.
No, you're not if you're getting like late December, January, their antlers are thinking about shedding, I wouldn't do that. But I would prefer to hang them the other way. So if you do tie bags of ice in their chest cavity, it's leaking and dripping out on the ground. It's not filling their face full of water.
Right. Okay, we have an assload to get through, and we've only got through like a pile here. So let's just, we touched on some of this. Kelly Reeves, Talk about some straight on mounts if you can. Why taxidermists don't want to do them. I think we kind of touched on that already. Because they look mounted, basically, is the quick answer.
Yep, dead stiff.
Talk about how to spot bad taxidermy, what to look for in eyes, ears, face, airbrushing, etc. And then talk about some of the cost, materials, all that stuff. Some cool stuff in here. And then we'll have to cut through. So I want to get through as many as we can here. So I'm going to go get a drink and let you guys fight while I do that.
Give me one too.
I will. You want to? Okay.
I have one.
Okay.
I think, when you're talking about bad taxidermy, you either know you got a bad piece or you don't. We just taped a episode here for WCB a little bit ago, and that guy was showing me some pictures of some deer that he had just picked up that was like, oh my God, bad. And he said, this is my buddy. He mounts everybody's in the area because he's cheap. And he said, I don't have the heart to tell him that I don't want him to mount this. He said, but my problem is the minute I take my picture and I got it on social media, he's PMing me saying, hey, when you getting that over here?
Yeah.
How do I handle that? And I said, well, you're either going to have to lie and keep him your buddy or tell him the fucking truth.
Yeah, right.
So, I want a better mount, and I think, when you're looking at bad taxidermy, the first thing, everybody migrates to the horns always. I mean, when you come in and you look up at the horns.
Yeah.
The next thing I look at for bad is the eyes. I mean, you can see a bad eye set from a good eye set. With the internet and social media today, you just scroll through everybody's pictures and look at what they're doing. I mean, you can tell if it's horrible or not horrible. I mean,
one thing you can do too is if you're not a taxidermist, but you love bow hunting and you have the time, when you have a state show every year, and you're probably not going to go to the seminars and stuff, but usually on the last day, they have a people's day. Yeah, you can walk through the showroom and you're going to be blown away, by what people can do in there. Yeah. And you're going to see truly the best of the best work, not all those taxidermists are commercial taxidermists, so some of them aren't actually taking work, we know, but it's still cool to see what's out there, and it'll really raise your awareness level, like Sam's talking about, the eyes, the ears, the nose.
Yeah. To me, if you got a decent eye set, the next thing I look at is your earbuds.
Yep.
And the shape of your ear, and the a lot of people are still using Bondo, and there's nothing wrong with Bondo. We use it in our shop at times under different applications. We don't use them in our whitetail, but we Bondo most of our bears and our small critters. But a Bondo ear, if you're not good at it, it's horrible.
Yeah.
It's too thick. The shape's wrong. I mean, there's so many things that can go wrong with it. And then the next thing is poorly applicated earbuds. I mean, I see, and again, I don't want to say anything bad about any other taxidermists because we're all have different skills and we're all at different levels in our career. Plus, we all charge different prices. So typically that guy that's got something that isn't mounted nice, he's probably not charging what somebody's charging. So that would be the first thing I would say,
I guess how
much are you charging?
How did we all learn? You had to study anatomy. You just don't know it. I've hunted deer my whole life. When I went to taxidermy school, I thought I knew what a deer looked like. Well, you don't know what a deer looks like when you break it down, the actual anatomy. So, I mean, you could study anatomy. I mean, when I came home from school, we had anatomy books. I'd save pictures, Here's
Joe Meter has live deer to take photos of it.
I mean, just studying anatomy, looking at good taxidermy, compared to bad taxidermy. I mean, if it's really bad, it ought to stick out to you.
There's some of our early ones in here.
Yeah.
That Sam or you didn't do.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. I mean, it's without
most of these in here.
Without studying taxidermy, I guess I don't know. Unless you went to a reputable taxidermist studio and maybe talk to them, ask them questions, look at their work,
I think as a taxidermist, like Mike was saying, the best thing that I did for my career was join my state association.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Because now, this is a crazy industry. You take your very best work and you put it in front of your peers to tell you you're either great or you suck. And I promise you 95% of us suck.
Oh yeah.
But then you're having.
Hey, I saw that Bobcat. That chick got a blue ribbon.
Yeah. but there's. I'm
kidding.
I'm gonna touch bases on that too. When you're competing, you're competing for A, B, C, or D. Everybody gets A, B, C, or D. But then there's also different levels of A, B, C, and D. You got your professional division, which she could have probably was in. I'm assuming by the looks of that cat. Well, that's graded on an elementary school curve, right?
Right.
And then you got your professional. That's more like a high school curve. I mean, you're supposed to be putting out a decent commercial piece to the public for money. And then you got your masters. Anybody can be a master. Anybody can say, hey, I want to enter the master. But you're forced to be a master with like 3 blue ribbons, with one being best of category. So here's what you're looking for. You got A, B, C, or D, and we all can get an A, B, C, or D, but you only get one best of category per year. So that's the caveat. I mean, that's what we're all shooting for, But my first piece I took, I thought I did amazing. And I got a C in the pro. Not that good. So then my next year, I got a B in the pro. My next year, I got an A in the pro. Okay? So as I'm graduating up, I'm putting that work in front of, a master taxidermist. That's what you hire. You hire the judges that know, and they're telling you what you did wrong. Now, every judge sees it differently, and we've all struggled. I mean, I've had B work for this guy and took it over to this guy, give me an A. I mean, that's a judge's opinion on that day. But what it did for me is it elevated how I look at it, what I look for, what I do. It made me a better taxidermist. So then, I got to the point where, I was getting an A. I was getting the best of categories in the pro. So I went to Wisconsin and I took my first open mouth deer. Took it in. All my bros were there. Man, that thing's awesome. You're going to win. You're going to win. So I'm in the hallway and I'm just listening, overhearing the judges talking to one another, and they didn't know who I was. And I heard the whitetail judge say, man, that kid from Iowa, he's sure going to be pissed when he goes in there. I'm looking around, fuck, that's me. I'm that kid from fucking Iowa, right? So I go in there and I had a 3rd fucking place on that deer. Now I had won best of categories in other states. I had a 3rd place. So on the way home, I'm on the interstate. I roll down the window and I frisbeed that fucking yellow ribbon out the window. I came home. I took my best cape and I rebuilt a piece. It took me 2 weeks to get it built, and went to Iowa, and I won Iowa that year with that piece. But I mean, it just pushes you to be better. Now you think you're getting better, and you get the next judge, and everything he says is different from the judge before. And I think Jake can contend to that. I mean, it's a game. It's a crapshoot, but it makes you a better taxidermist.
Absolutely.
Don't you agree?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I think it's imperative that we join that.
Cool. Where did we get here? Some of this we talked about. Yeah. Thanks, Kelly.
Everything costs different.
Yeah.
Talked about that.
Tanneries are always backed up. They suck. They all suck equally.
Can't even answer that.
Mine don't suck.
The cost of all the materials have gone up. Cost of foam, cost of glue, cost of paint, shipping, everything's gone up.
Drexel, we kind of talked about how does somebody get into taxidermy. How does a guy get into taxidermy without going to taxidermy school?
I would start with YouTube.
Yeah.
Or
find somebody local in your area that's a decent taxidermist and go apprentice for them. Go work for them. Spend time there. Because then you could see it daily if you're there daily, or every weekend you're putting your hands on it instead of just reading books and videos. There's taxidermy magazines, Breakthrough, like Larry Bloomquist and stuff. But
trial by fire a little bit.
Yeah, like you did. You came over and I said, here, airbrush. That's how you do it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna
put your hands on it.
Yeah,
there's a Taxidermy University. Cole Cruikshank owns that. It's a DVD collection that you can buy. You can get specialized on that.
What school did you go to, Mark? Because you went away for school, didn't you?
I went to the Northwest Iowa School of Taxidermy in Spirit Lake, Iowa.
Tom Matuska.
Tom Matuska, yeah.
Oh,
yep. Matuska Taxidermy, yep. I went out there for 9 weeks straight. Stayed in a cabin.
Oh, was that long?
Yeah. Yep.
What year did you go?
2004.
And we were there in 93.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. So you went too.
My ex-wife did.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So I got to live it through her eyes for a lot of years.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Tom's a good guy.
He's the best.
Yeah, he is.
I love him.
Awesome dude.
I'm learning that.
Love Vicky.
Yeah, Vicky's great too, for sure.
I've been hearing like hooking up with taxidermists kind of the move. Like Austin kind of played the long game, and now Leah's like becoming a
he's got to
taxidermist.
say that. It pays to know people, you know.
Pays to know people. All time best quote. Second time we mentioned this on the G2 series. I'm like, dang, dude, you're banging your taxidermist. He goes, got to play the long game.
Yeah,
I'm like, God, that's the best answer.
Yeah, like he totally planned it.
Yeah, it's the best answer ever.
I would. Yeah, there's YouTube. There's like he said. There's Taxidermy University. So there's videos. I mean, you got to watch what you watch on YouTube. Some guys show weird
Some of it's junk.
techniques and bad things, but so yeah, there was books back in the day. I would say go find somebody local and go spend time in their shop. Then you get hands on.
That should be your number one, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the best. way I
YouTube
know
is useful, but like you said, it's
Hands on.
more like commercial. A lot of times applications
Right.
could be weird, but yeah, find somebody local.
it. Yeah, I mean,
But you got to find that local guy that's willing to. He's got to be. He's got to be very secure in his business.
right.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's not
he's
easy.
He's not wanting to turn that over to everybody, And my philosophy is there's enough for all of us, so
Yeah,
more the merrier,
absolutely.
And
Definitely.
And if you can find a taxidermist that doesn't need help, good luck. I mean, they all need help.
Everybody does.
Yeah.
So,
Well, for the most part, it's like localized
back in the
so
day,
much to your area. I mean, sometimes even by county.
yeah,
you know?
back in the day, it was a giant secret. People would not share their
Oh,
secrets.
never.
But now it's with internet and everything.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, people realize hand the knowledge down.
I skipped a few questions because a lot of them were kind of leaning into some of the stuff. Alexandra, thanks for the question. What is your favorite and least favorite thing to do, thing to taxidermy, and why? And we talked about getting started. Also, how do you feel about the recent rise in comedic taxidermy? And there's a beaver with a chainsaw, which is hilarious.
I don't know if that's a recent thing. I think that's
Yeah, it's not for me.
Always been around. Yeah, like banjo raccoons and shit.
I mean, it's funny. Everybody laughs at it, but it's not something that, if you're a professional taxidermist, that
You're not there putting your heart and
your
soul.
reputation. You're probably
Yeah, leave it
not-
for the goth
You're not
chicks.
spending much time doing that or care for it at all.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
My favorite thing amounts to turkey.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I love turkeys.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all.
I love them when they're done. I don't like doing them.
Yeah.
What's your favorite, Mark?
Oh God, favorite? I like ducks. I like waterfowl.
Wow, I did not expect that
Yeah.
answer.
I mean, you do so many different poses. You can do so much with their necks, their heads, their wings, their feet, and there's so many different variety of beautiful birds out there. I mean, I love whitetails, but once you mount 200-300 whitetails, it's a deer is a deer is a deer is a deer.
Yeah.
It's the same. I feel like you can get more creative with birds. Fish too, but birds have a lot of moving parts.
Interesting. I didn't expect that answer.
Yeah.
How about you?
I just got my feet wet with predators like bobcats and coyotes. I literally just got back from the Ohio Taxidermy show. I did a training with Abel Everidge there, and he's kind of like
He's the new god.
he's the guy
he's the man.
with the cats. So
the new god.
Yeah.
He's got a brand new DVD out, I think. I just seen it.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
So he and I put together
to
a
get
cat, and it looks
What's his name?
Abel Everidge,
Yeah.
but
Average.
EVER.
Abel or
So-
Jenna. They're both.
Yep. So getting into
You want to talk about taxidermy's power couple.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're talking the best whitetail and the best mammal.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're unbelievable.
This dude is incredible. And an incredible man.
Where's he from?
He's an incredible young man.
Indiana.
Yeah.
Oh, damn. He doesn't this is his like page.
Oh,
I think you
Day six.
Texas.
Oh yeah, Day 6 taxidermy. That's right. Yeah, I've never met either one of them yet, but they're unbelievable.
They're incredible people.
Yeah.
whoa.
Yeah.
There's Kibblers. What's
Eric does good work.
Eric's good taxidermy.
He's a good
Day
taxidermy.
He just
six.
retired, I think.
Did he?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
He's incredible.
Yeah. There they
There
are.
you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
so where they're out of Indiana.
Indiana. Yeah.
For sales, Indiana.
I think she got second in the world, or did she win first in the
Yeah, I
world?
think
got
she
second.
got second a couple years
Second in
ago,
the world?
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And I about bet you money.
Wow.
I would bet. I would put a big wager. You're looking at two world champions right there this year.
That
Sure.
They
that
will both win.
bobcat is bad to the bone, man.
Yeah, he's incredible.
Oh yeah.
Abel basically won every award at Ohio the other day when I was there with his cat. So it looks phenomenal.
Wow. So you got training from him.
Yep. Spent 3 days with him mounting a cat while we were at the Ohio show. It was great. I mean,
no kidding.
If you can do any of that type of training, that's by far
the best thing you can do.
And there's a ton of that training out there right now.
Yeah.
I mean, Clint gives, Hazel Creek, you go down there and learn from, Callie Morse.
Yep.
And
James Graham. James is probably one of the best whitetail guys in the United States.
Yeah.
He gives a class down there.
Yeah, classes. Look up taxidermy classes, weekend classes, week-long classes.
Well, that is beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
No, he's beyond awesome.
His work is incredible.
You're going to have to be willing to drop a little coin to do these classes. But I mean, if you're going to make a career out of it, I mean, somebody like Abel, he's getting $2,500 for each one of those cats. Mm-hmm. It's worth it to pay what it costs, to go and learn from the best.
That's like the one thing that I get the most. I don't mount shit. I'm giving Sam some flowers here. The most compliments we get are the mountain lion and the coyote.
Yeah,
because
I mount a
everyone
nice
know people who know how hard predators are.
Yep.
And this is amazing.
I'm no Abel Everidge, but I mount a really nice mammal.
Yeah.
Yeah, mammals would be my second favorite for sure.
Okay, let's get
or tied with birds because you can do a lot with them too.
What's your favorite, or least favorite?
My least favorite is turkeys.
Yeah,
the trend going on.
You got a really good turkey taxidermist working for you.
I know. I do.
I think turkeys is a lot of people's least favorite. Some people price them so high just so they don't have to do them because they're a pain in the ass.
Yeah,
unless you know once you got it
unless
down,
you know Callie's techniques and you get your system down.
Yeah. I went to Cali 3 times.
Yeah,
and I've been to John Beard and Shane Smith twice.
Oh yeah, Shane Smith's incredible.
So I've got
John
almost
Beard's,
between traveling and everything, I've got a little over $20,000 invested.
Yeah,
But crazy. You want to talk about? I love Cali. Cali does an amazing bird.
Right.
But you want to talk about hands from God? It's Shane Smith.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. Shane Smith's unbelievable.
I don't care what that man touches. He mounts squirrels for fun. He's into squirrels like you were into whitetails.
Really?
He loves squirrels. So I've got this tricolored squirrel behind my house. I'm sending him pictures. He's coming to my house to shoot this squirrel.
Yeah.
But he mounts these things and sends me pictures of, oh my God. And I don't care. Everybody thinks smaller should cost less because it's less work. Right. It's just directly the opposite. Smaller is harder, in my opinion.
What's your favorite thing to mount?
I mean, I love mounting my deer.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the majority of my business is is deer. But
yeah,
I love when I get Western game because it changes it up. Yeah, the antelope and the elk.
Something to look at. I think antelope mount are so pretty.
Antelope are cool.
They're sweet. Okay, this is a good one. Mike Schulte. If you had to pick one pose for a mega buck, what would you pick? Like semi-sneak, wall pedestal, or wall pedestal, for example? Oh, shit.
That's hard to even say. It depends on the rack.
Yeah, it depends on the horns. Yeah. Depends on the horns and depends on where you're going to put it on the wall.
Okay.
Mine's easy. Semi-sneak wall pedestal, he named it. That's my favorite.
Yeah. Okay.
Or a hard side turn where you get more of the shoulder.
Offset shoulder.
Offset shoulder, yeah.
Some of these we kind of got a quick answer. Can we move to the next one?
Mm-hmm.
Gus, if you fix someone else's poorly done work, is it easier to fix a problem or start over from scratch? My example would be ears on my last mount are all jacked up.
Throw it away.
Yep.
Start over.
Redo.
Start it over. Okay.
Yep. That shows up on forums a lot. Is people posting pictures of, a poor mount and they're like, how do I fix this? It's like,
yeah.
You can. But.
Yeah, they want to bitch, and they all bitch. I just, and it's always, I finally got my deer back. Yeah. Well, fuck, guys, we take our whole year's worth of work in 3 months. Right. We don't know, but I finally got my deer back, okay? But what do you think? Well, do you like it or don't you fucking like it?
Yeah.
Well, I don't like it. Well, neither do I. It looks like shit. Well, can you fix it? Well, what should I have done different? Well, you should have looked at the work before you dropped it off.
Yeah.
Well, he did good on these 3. No, he didn't. He doesn't do 3 good ones and 1 shitty one.
Right.
That's not how
he
this
fucked you.
This is not how this works.
Yeah.
He's either decent mediocre or good.
Just like getting a tattoo, man.
Yeah.
You know
Do your-
what? I
do your
use that
fucking
reference
homework.
every time when people bring stuff in. I'm like, your taxidermist is like your tattoo artist.
Yeah.
You
Gotta trust
research,
them.
and you got to trust them, and you're gonna have it forever. So
Yeah.
buy once, cry once.
I've done some.
Got to get some bad ones though to know what a good one is.
Yeah.
I've done some work that's just shit, and when it comes in and redo it, and it's just the most time consuming. I mean, you can make it look amazing, but it's a nightmare. And sometimes, I mean, with like whitetails and stuff, that leather when it dries rock hard, sometimes it has a little bit of a memory.
Oh, that makes sense.
So it's tough to retuck an eye that was jacked up before that
Tucked in 1988.
because maybe it's
Depends on how it's tanned and how it was prepped.
Yes, exactly. That's what I was going to say. The tanning method they've used, and so it's not fun to redo shit.
Do your homework.
Okay, right here. There's two questions back to back that kind of relate. Tony Smith, what determines price difference in different styles of mounts besides the obvious like materials and time? Is there one factor bigger than others like form, size, etc.? And then Aaron, why the price of taxidermy has drastically gone up over the years? So it's all pricing on taxidermy.
I think the easiest way to answer that is go to McDonald's. Take your grandkids or your kids and go to McDonald's and then put on this form what you just paid. You used to spend $10 at McDonald's with 3 kids, and now you spend $50. Mm-hmm. The world has went up. Everything has went up. Our materials went up. Our glues went up. Everything has went up drastically. Shipping is 3 times, 4 times what it used to be.
Let me ask you this
Plus,
question.
we all got to make a better living because we got to pay for this went up shit.
Right.
Yeah, everybody does.
Yep.
All right, let me ask you guys this. This is my own, curiosity question. Does more taxidermists in the game increase the value of the good taxidermists, therefore increasing the prices for the good taxidermists? So my analogy would be, since we've started doing hunting podcast, there was 5, including us when we started. Now there's 1,000 of them. And really, a lot of people, at first, it's like, fuck, they're flooding the water. But all it really does is guys who are doing it right with effort, it just makes us look better.
Yeah.
Or the shows, the fall and, some other great, Wired to Hunt, there's some great podcasts out there that are taking it seriously, invested time and the money and the equipment. So it kind of just puts us higher up on the spectrum because there's so much of the.
Mm-hmm. I get what you're saying.
I think you'll rise to the top.
Right.
The cream always right.
So does that make a difference in your guys' pricing? If there's a bunch of guys doing ass work that are charging $350 and you're like, well, shit, people might look at you as like, you're double, triple the taxidermist. No, doesn't make a difference.
I
was digging.
So.
Not to me. He said it earlier. You've invested what you've invested in yourself to become great.
Yeah.
He's spent that
Your
money.
price is your price.
It cost me a crap load to go to school for 9 weeks and then buy all the materials and the paint booth and all the stuff you need. And
this is a specialized trade.
Yeah.
We're artists.
Absolutely.
We're all artists.
Yep,
for sure.
But it's specialized. And some of us are better than others.
Right. And you got to pay your bills. So it depends on what your bills are, what you got to charge.
Mm-hmm.
If
at
you
the
don't.
same breath, we don't capitalize on other people being shitty.
Right.
Right. Yeah, it's a good point to make. Yeah. I didn't mean it like that.
No, but you know what I'm saying. Like some people think that they deserve more because this guy over here, he's only $350, but we can charge like $850, $750, whatever you want to charge, just because this guy across the street's shittier than me.
Yeah, I didn't mean it like that.
I
could see how probably my question got perceived that way, but
I think competition is good in any industry. I think it keeps you honest. I believe it makes you be better than the next guy because what sets you apart? Well, our price is going to be our price. I don't ever worry about any of my neighbors' prices. That's not my concern. I don't care what they charge. Mm-hmm. But my product, I want it to be as good or better, preferably better than my neighbor. So I think competition forces you to do a better job. Mm-hmm. Might force some people to be competitive, depending on with their price, depending on where they're at in their career and how many they need.
Yeah.
But our prices, we have spreadsheets built, and we come in and we plug in A, B, C, and D, and E, and we know how many hours it takes. We know a whitetail basically by the time that Leah deals with them in the front and Leah deals with them in the back. The guy skins them, turns them 10. We have 10 hours in a whitetail and about $300 in cost. Mm-hmm. So, you look 10 hours, if your shop rate's $55, you got $550 and that should be $850. That's kind of how we go about our pricing.
Yeah.
Now, what Fred's Taxidermy is 2 miles from me, I don't know. I don't care. Because
it makes sense.
I'm confident in my product. I'm confident in my people. And I'm confident in my marketing ability. So I don't care what Fred charges. Yeah. And if Fred gets more than me, Merry Christmas. Good on Fred.
Good for Fred. Yeah.
Good on Fred.
We got to quit calling out whoever Fred is, because there's some dude that's like Fred's Taxidermy's like, what the fuck? This fucking podcast has been bashing me. I don't even know these guys.
I'll never buy a G2 form again.
Yeah, we get next podcast is this is edition 7 of G2 with Fred's Taxidermy. We kind of owe him now.
We owe Fred.
I would say you evolved too with your pricing, as far as you have to be better than the guy down the street. And when I went to school, my teacher said, this is going to sound bad, but eventually, if you have putting out good quality, you're going to want to get rid of your Walmart customers. It sounds bad, but you're going to want to do top-notch work for top-notch people that want to spend the money that it takes to do top-notch work.
And we'll pick the product up when it's done.
Yes. Yeah. That's a huge deal too. So
that's another problem. You got when you have an actual price shopper and he calls you, what do you get? The first thing that goes through my mind is, A, he's not going to be able to afford a deposit.
Yeah.
And B, he's not going to pick it up when we call him.
Yeah.
Okay, first off, we got to apologize to Fred's Taxidermy in Willow Springs, Missouri.
I'm sorry, Fred.
Shout out to you. If you're in Willow Springs, Missouri, go support Fred's Taxidermy.
Fred does nice work.
Fred does nice turkey.
Go to some photos.
Fred.
I had to look it up after we were saying that.
Yeah, right.
He specializes in deer and turkey, he says.
Yeah.
Go Fred.
Go Fred. Yeah.
All right. Okay, we're going to... And then I saw another Fred's Taxidermy.
Well.
Shut up. Fred's Taxidermy in Slidell. Is that Louisiana?
Yeah.
Go Fred.
Go Fred.
2 pictures.
He's got 2.
To hell.
Maybe Fred's out of business. Sorry about that, Fred.
We love you, Fred.
We got one more. Frontier Fred's Taxidermy.
Right.
Let's go to his gallery and take a peek.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
He's killing it.
He's got the rump mount.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Fred's killing it.
That's nice.
Okay.
Good for Fred.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Freds. All the Freds in the world, I love you.
Yeah, they're getting it done.
Okay. We've kind of covered a lot of these.
That auto tanner thing, I want to touch bases on that. That's not a bad product.
Oh,
yeah.
Bryce Retzker. Bryce is a good dude. Shout out to Bryce. Thoughts on using auto tanner versus sending out professional tanner?
The thing with auto tanner is, they're called a pressure tanner, and they're like a big pressure tank, and you put pounds of air in it, and you tan a cape in hours. I don't know exactly what it is, but it's hours. But it's not necessarily. Now, I'm not a chemist, but I've talked to enough people that know more than I know. It's not the pressure that tans it. It's the movement of it, because it's tumbling the whole time. But they're a good product. Back in the day, we did everything with a pressure tanner.
Is that the drum thing?
But it's a little. It's like a 55-gallon. Looks like a propane tank type.
We just
thing.
order them through the taxidermy supply catalog.
He's probably thinking of a tumbler.
Yeah,
that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, like a hide tumbler to break the hide and dry it.
And as far as
when you're tanning,
you send it to professional tannery. My thing, I give a lot of business seminars at our state shows, and as you're growing your business, the first thing we always look at, we want to get everything back within a 12-month period, and that's our business model. The day I couldn't get it out of a 12-month period, then I got to look at, I got to hire somebody. What's the first easiest thing to hire? And that's a tannery, because now they work for you, and we offset that tanning. But until you have to do that, keep it in house. If you can get your shit back quick, tan it yourself.
Yeah.
Parker asked a very specific question. I wonder why. How long can a bufflehead? Is that right? Bufflehead duck stay in a freezer before it can be mounted? And then Taylor Shea said, I've got a teal that's been frozen for 5 years. How long is it good?
Depends on how it's wrapped.
Taylor, that teal might still be good. Depends on how you did it. You know?
Yeah.
If you get all the air out of it and you got it wrapped up nice, it's not going to freezer burn. And even if it's freezer burn, we use artificial legs, artificial bills.
Right.
You're probably fine.
Yeah.
Okay, get it to your taxidermist. Did we want to hit this one? We kind of covered some of this a little bit.
I think a semi-sneaks is...
Yeah.
Kevin, what's your favorite looking shoulder mount for whitetails? this we've covered.
Semi-sneak, offset shoulder, or something.
My
basic
all-time
like that.
favorite's Joe Meter's offset sneak.
Oh, yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, I do too. Yep.
A lot of the same questions.
We have
Is
something similar to it. No, I mean,
that was
Steve.
that was a
That's
recent
that one Kurtz is on out here.
Okay.
Yeah.
This one?
Yeah.
This is great. All right. Matt Michalik, is the Mitch Rompla buck real or fake? What a great question for a bunch of taxidermists.
We don't know because we weren't there to see it skinned, but
Yeah.
I'm going for real.
I'm going real.
I say it's real.
I think it's real. I think that guy got the shaft.
It's fucking fake.
I do too.
It's
I was going to say, I initially thought it
It's
was
so
fake,
fake.
but
Yeah.
there's
I used to think so, but now I don't.
I don't think it's fake.
I don't know.
All right. I don't know a lot about it because I don't care enough. But he was in the measuring club where he's from. And then he kills this buck and then he leaves the measuring club and all of a sudden is a recluse. Well, if he was a recluse, the picture would have never, he didn't want the attention. Well, the picture never would have been on the internet in the first place. It's fucking fake. It's fucking fake.
Well, the other thing that was kind of interesting about that too is when you look at the deer quality that he's killed in that area or he had killed, and then you look at what everybody else was shooting, it was like, it's like he's shooting something out of Pike County.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For the area.
True. And it is Michigan.
Dude, the
right?
burr of that deer is well behind its eye.
You guys have been through this so many times.
This is
It's
so many times.
It's a
the
great.
banter. You know?
It's fun.
It's a great conspiracy.
Well, I mean, we could easily determine it. Just cut the thing open and
Right.
see if the skull's been.
Here's the thing. It's
Maybe when he dies, is he still alive? If he dies, somebody might in his family might eventually.
The
that
full
story up.
backstory.
so dumb.
Yeah.
What, they sign an NDA or something? Like,
Yeah, right.
The burr's
wanted
behind the eye.
They wanted
This is
to-
the bottom of the burr.
I think.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
I think it's real.
Yeah.
You don't?
I think it's
You
real.
guys would know.
Yeah.
I don't think it's
I
real.
see nothing there that shows fake to me.
Me neither.
Michigan people just claim to fame on that. Look how dumb the shoulder mount looks.
Oh, yeah. No, that's bad.
It's done by Fred Staxner.
Yeah, right. That one eye is 3/4 of an inch lower than the other one.
Got a nice plaque behind it.
Yeah, right, yeah.
People love. Yeah, it does. People. Yeah. Oh, look at this one. This is another deer he allegedly killed.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Come on.
When you
That-
see
that ruins it.
When there's 2 or 3 of those, and you're
Right.
like,
that
It's
doesn't-
the same genetic pool. That's.
He literally has an antler stretcher.
Hey, come on.
hey,
Look at this photo. Look at this photo, and I'm just gonna say one thing.
big time.
That's fucking gay. Right? That's gay. Don't show me that picture.
yeah.
Don't you think?
Something seems off.
That picture's bullshit.
I don't know.
Come on.
I don't know. I think it's real.
In Michigan? You think that deer's real?
I think it's real.
Yeah.
Oh my God. You guys are making me look bad because you guys would know.
would
If that's
say-
real,
We don't know
this
no more
deer's
than you
real.
know. I tell you.
I believe that deer's real just as much as I believe that
Yeah,
photo.
that one obviously, yeah.
All right.
Or here's another buck he shot.
It's
I just
the
don't
same
like.
sweep. All
Look
of
at
them.
the burr. Like what? When have you seen? That's a doe. That's a
That might be a doe.
that's a
looks
doe
like a
with
doe.
sheds on, it,
That
bro.
might be a doe.
That's something a dude in Michigan that says he doesn't want attention would post.
That does look like a doe. I will say that.
I mean, I want it to be. It's like Bigfoot. I want it to be real.
You know,
But, all right, look at this deer, right? Okay. This is a deer that, I don't know, I'm sure they're like, oh, this is the second Rompla buck. But look, at the burrs on this are believable.
Yeah.
yeah,
Do you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Right.
You guys are leaving me hanging out here. Talk some shit with me.
It's kind of like that shot that was heard around the world this weekend. We'll never know.
Yeah,
Zoom in on
right,
that Texas
right.
buck in the middle there.
This one?
Yeah.
The burr, that
Oh,
burr is
yeah.
believable.
I've
Yeah.
seen that deer before.
Now, if that deer looked like this, I would buy it, you know? I don't know. Anyway, let's get back to the questions. It's fake. Let's get here we go. Scott Seibert is 4 years too long to wait for a black bear mount. Is it disrespectful to pull said bear from taxidermist to take it to someone willing to finish it?
Pull it out.
Pull it. It's yours. Do whatever you
Yeah,
want.
yeah. I don't know.
It's up to you to make that choice, pretty much.
Yeah.
Cool. That wraps up the questions for socials. Thanks to everybody who asked. I thought this was fun, kind of cutting up and going through it all. Oh, yeah. What do you guys think? Any extra thoughts? Anybody want to stir the pot with anything wild out of left field?
I got nothing.
Anybody want to make some bold claims?
I want these guys to talk a little bit about their businesses. Jeff,
Yes.
where are you located at?
Congerville, Illinois.
Where's that at?
So directly between Bloomington and Peoria, a little
Bloomington.
closer to Bloomington, but
So you're right there by the Deer and Bear Festival.
I am 15 minutes from it,
That's awesome.
That's awesome. And you're full time?
full time.
Yeah. You was a police officer,
Yep,
correct?
I was
Awesome.
29 years.
On the SWAT team?
Yep, 10 years in the SWAT team.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you.
Bet.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Bet.
Where can people find you if they want to look you up online or anything like that?
Lifetaxidermy.com is my website, and then I'm on Facebook.
Fake book. Okay. Okay. We'll put links to that for both you guys.
How long you been doing it? How'd you get into it? What made you do it?
This will be my 10th year.
Oh, cool.
So the whole time when I was in law enforcement, I always wanted to do taxidermy.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just bugging the crap out of my local taxidermist to train me.
Right.
And of course, the whole time is, I don't want to give away my secrets. I don't want you to take business from me, all of that.
Right.
Well, finally, he ended up calling me and he's like, hey, I want to talk to you about working out here. I'm like, I will be there in 10 minutes. So went out there, talked to him. He's like, I'm going to retire in 1 year and I will teach you everything I know in 1 year. I said, well, then what are you going to do with the business? He goes, well, I don't care. I'm moving. I'm going to be retired. And he says, well, I'll make you a deal. He said, I'll sell it to you if you want it after that year. I said, I'll take it. I'll do it. Without even working there. Know? So started working there, and I was like, I really like this. So he said the deal with buying the business and all of his machinery, equipment, all of that, you have to build your own building because we're selling this place. So still working third shift at the sheriff's office, plus having a building built and trying to work out there to learn everything that, so worked out there. And then towards the end of it, I saw advertisement for the World Show. So I thought, I'm going to go see what this was all about. Well, I thought I was pretty decent at being a taxidermist. And then I went to the World Show and went, whoa. Wow.
Yeah.
I've got to step my game up quite a bit, to be where I want to be. So ever since then, it's been state shows and, just trying to get better. And so
Rabbit hole.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. Shout out to you for
cool.
the ambition.
Yeah. See?
Because a lot of people it'd be easy for you just not to do it.
Well, basically, I went about 8 years with like 2 hours of sleep a day. Grinding on both ends and trying to make it work and, having a family and all that.
This taxidermy is not easy, so it takes a grinder. It takes somebody.
You got to love it. It's got to be in your DNA.
Absolutely.
Let's be honest. Anything hunting related to do for a living, your passion has to outweigh everything else because it's just tough.
Yeah.
It's just tough.
The thing that people don't realize about the taxidermy business is we take all of our work in during hunting season.
Hey, you're not doing a lot of hunting.
No, it sucks, and that's the reason.
That might have played in why I didn't continue down the trail.
It's true though. I mean, when you want to be, when it's, Halloween and the bucks are running, you're skinning.
Yeah. The more deer get shot, the less you're hunting.
Yeah. And the bigger you get and the better you get, the more you get. Now you're just fucked.
How many times I've been in the tree stand and my phone's ringing?
You got to
shit. Gotta get down.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Damn it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then when you're climbing down you get another call. Shit, that's 6 guys today that killed. So they're moving.
Yeah,
I
you
need
got to be
climb up that tree again.
Yeah.
But you can't.
Yeah, your window of opportunity to make sure you got hair on that hide is a few hours.
Yeah.
Because you got to get home and get that thing cooled out and do your thing with it.
Yeah.
Now you know why I got out of it.
Yeah.
I'm hunting, bro.
Which we're getting to this. We're going to get to that here in a second. But no, okay. So I'll put your link to everything in the episode description. And then if people are in the area, they can hopefully reach out to you through the link and all that. Absolutely. And hopefully more taxidermy. I want to get more taxidermists like this on. That's like a
This
cool
is
deal.
fun.
This is super fun. I enjoyed the hell out of this. Like this episode's longer than you think it is right now. But and then same with you. Like, how did you get into it? Where are you at? All that stuff.
Yeah. So I'm just north of Springfield.
Oops. Turned your mic up on accident.
Oh, it's all
You're good. You're good.
Yeah. So I'm just north of Springfield, just south of a little town called Cantrall. I got into it. I was, working a career that I've been doing for like 10 years, kind of similar to your deer story a little bit, I think. Just one of those situations where it's not going to work out. Like the writing's kind of on the wall. So you start looking for a way out, kind of.
Yeah, you've always had a way out the whole time you're there. Yeah, like playing on it. Yeah.
So you're like, oh gosh, I gotta figure this out. And I had a grandpa that managed a business, a grocery store, and his meat cutter was a taxidermist. And I got to know him a little bit, and he invited me in and taught me how to do it. And I was coming back from an elk hunt 2 years ago, and I was like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to give it a shot. And we really had no idea what it was going to turn into, and it just blew up, and it was like, holy cow. And then at the end of December, I was basically given an ultimatum like, hey, you can either quit or we're going to fire you. And it was just God's timing that I had all these deer, in the garage at home to work on. I'm like, I'm doing it.
Hell yeah.
This,
Yeah.
Love that.
And so it was crazy.
Were they going to fire you because you're doing so much hunting or what?
Oh yeah, that was it. No, I had broken a policy at the store, and it's one of those deals where, they start looking for a way basically. And admittedly broken a policy, but at the end of the day, I think it was the Lord used that situation in my life to begin something that, was way better than anything I could have dreamed.
This is the best job in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, we can all bitch about it because it does have some liabilities that come with it, but I wouldn't want to do anything other. I mean, I know Mark's took a different direction, but
Yeah.
No, we're not done with this podcast yet. All right, we're getting to Mark.
yeah, I want to hear this story anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do too.
I'm going to beat Mark to death here in about
Yeah,
10 minutes.
Right. Well, I
To
guess
death with love. Well, first of all, where can people find you? Like online, all that
Yeah,
stuff?
so look up Cantrall Taxidermy on Facebook. I've got a website, Instagram, but Facebook's probably, the best place to find me.
Cool.
I'm going to be at the Illinois Deer and Beer Fest.
Awesome.
Hanging out with you guys. So
Bitchin'.
I'll be giving away a free shoulder mount there. So
Oh, awesome.
Stop by the booth.
Very cool.
We're going to figure out how we
Do you know
can
your booth
handle
number offhand?
that. I'm going to be one row back from you guys.
Okay.
I don't have the booth number off the top of my head, but I'm in the same quadrant kind of as you guys are. So,
Badass. Okay. This will launch. Fuck it. This will launch after Illinois Deer and Beer.
okay. Yeah. Well,
But that's okay. Just I'll have to get all these links and I'll get them in the episode description for you guys and all that. Leah will get all that to me. And then, cool. All right. So we got a bone to pick with Mark here. So Mark, how long did you do taxidermy full time?
Yeah.
How long?
Yeah. Oh, how long? 15 years.
15's a haul.
Yeah.
And then
2004 to whatever.
Mark is tenor the term?
Yeah, sheet metal worker. I was a union. I went through an apprenticeship right out of high school to be a union sheet metal worker. And then I got out and I became a foreman and I started running commercial sheet metal jobs. I mean, I work at John Deere. I run big commercial industrial sheet metal jobs. Mm-hmm. And then became to where, construction's a circus. And I got to a point where I couldn't stand it anymore. And the stress and the pain in the ass. So I ended up, I shot a big deer. And then I took it to a taxidermist. Do you know Chris DeBell in LeClaire?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And
He's awesome.
yeah, yep. I took it to him, and then I was thinking, I got to quit. I got to get out of this trade. I hate it. I got to figure out something I can do for myself, be my own boss. And then I thought, well, it's got to be hunting related. What am I going to do? DNR agent? No, I'm busy when I'm hunting.
Yeah.
So when I went over there, I asked him, I said, how'd you get into this? And he said he had been to school. He'd been with Meter. And then there's another guy that worked with Meter. I can't think of his name right now, that he worked with too. But so anyway, he said I'd go to a taxidermy school. And he suggested looking him up online. And he suggested Matuska Taxidermy.
Yeah.
And I said, I went home, hung my deer on the wall and got online. And I booked a 9-week class to go out there and then did it for 15 years. I loved it. Of course I loved it. But I guess why I got out of it was because my daughter called me and said, "Hey, I want to go out of state to go to college," and I said, "Oh shit, what's that going to cost me?" And I paid the bills. I got by. I wasn't going on hunting trips. I was nowhere near 200 deer a year. Is like blows my freaking mind.
All right, in your defense though, dude, you were doing above commercial
I
work.
did, yes. I couldn't. My biggest problem was I could not let anything go unless it was gnats at. I mean, I would
will
work
vouch.
all freaking night long if one eyelid was an eighth of an inch lower than the other one. I just can't. If it's leaving my shop, that's just how I am with everything I do.
Yeah, yeah.
So I was way too meticulous to pump things out.
You know how you always hear the bullshit job interviews like, I care too much? And you're like,
Yeah.
no, you do care too much.
I do, yeah.
Yeah.
Every single thing that ever came through the door is an absolute trophy to me. And I couldn't do the commercial work, which is fine. That's what we have to get deer out. We have to pay our bills. We have to turn them out in a timely fashion to make a business out of it, or you're sitting there spinning your wheels.
Yeah.
So I really struggled with that. So, and then, so I could go back to work on Monday and make almost $50 an hour and not have to work 12 hours a day in my basement and then work weekends every day in my basement over and over and over. Like Sam said, you take all your work in 3 months and then you're busting ass to get it done by the time the corn gets tall again. You watch that corn. Oh shit, it's turning brown. Are all my deer done for the year?
Yeah.
And then as soon as you get done, slam, more deer, more deer, more deer, more deer, more. And it's just, for me, I did not want to, I couldn't do commercial work. I had to, whatever I put out had to be competition.
Yeah.
And
that's cool though.
And I can't do it. I could not do it fast enough to make enough money to pay the bills. So I got this dangling almost $50 an hour job waiting for me. I can go to Monday. And it's what I've done most of my life. So I knew how to do it. And my daughter's going to college. I'm not planning vacations. I'm paying the bills, but I'm not buying brand new trucks. I'm not doing anything, fun.
Yeah.
So I said, I got to make a life choice. I can make money, pay for my daughter to go to college. I had another daughter from my second marriage. I got expenses. I got to, make a big boy decision.
For sure.
So that's basically what.
Are you taking any work in right now?
No.
So
I haven't taken any work in years.
So will there be a point where Mark Riffe does 5 deer a year?
I think so.
Like custom.
Yeah. When I
Mark Riffe
retire,
mounts?
when I retire, and that's what I think I would like to do. I don't want to be overwhelmed with, I've got to do 150 deer a year.
You want to do 5 badass.
I don't want to do that. I'll do,
deer.
if I retire, I could do 10, 20, whatever, and take my time and do what I want. Pick and choose my work and charge a premium for it because you're getting
Custom
premium,
shit,
So
yeah, I respect that.
Pick my jobs that I would want to take on. That's where, and then the more I got into like the Facebook game with all these taxidermists joining Facebook pages, that's another good way to learn. Taxidermy tips and techniques was a good page. I started to learn that a lot of the best in the world guys would have a real job, have insurance, have an annuity, have a 401k, make all that money.
100%.
Yeah. And then they would do projects that they wanted to do on the side and get paid more and not be completely overwhelmed and still have insurance and still have a good paycheck. Mm-hmm. And so I thought, you know what? Am I just going to sit here and grind myself to death and do this? Or am I going to just, it sucks. I don't like what I do. I mean, I do, but it's hard. It's brutal.
Yeah.
Physically. And so I love taxidermy. You get up, you go down to your basement, you're at home, you work on, it's rewarding. It's the most rewarding thing when people come in and they pick up their animal and they're just shitting their pants.
Well, I will say, I think you're given a good painting of like the realistic side of both of it, but I would tell you, you're a fucking incredible taxidermist, man. I mean, Sam's seen the big 8 you did for me at my house, and it's
nice. Good work.
It's beautiful.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, I'm nowhere the businessman that Sam is too, and you have to have that skill. You have to be dedicated to work 10, 12 hours a day, whatever it takes. You have to market yourself the right way. You have to get the right dollar amount coming in, and you have to be organized. And, I'm sure his wife plays a good part.
She plays it all.
Yeah. So,
because I'm a fucking mess.
And so was I. I was by myself. I'm a worker. That's what I do. I'm not a business guy. That computer, I'll throw it in the trash can. I'm not gonna set up a budget, and he's got shit broken down to where I don't even know what the hell he's doing. You know what I mean? I would never do that.
I think most guys are the way you are, Mark.
Yeah, I can't.
And I think I'm that way. I'm just winging it. But I have like this weird selfish thing. It was like I wanted to connect you guys,
right?
Because I'm like, dude, Mark is you're a gangster, and I'm like, I gotta get you guys connected somehow for the future,
right?
Whatever it means.
We have a future.
Maybe in the future.
Somehow something is there.
Yeah, and
it might be where
2 old guys and a hot chick.
Yeah, there you go.
It's like a movie I've seen, but it's but like I'm thinking Old Barn Customs,
right?
And it's like Mark does 10 a year,
right?
And you decide if you want it or not. And it's just like, you don't got to market yourself.
Right.
You don't got to worry about the fucking shit. You just make your commission or however it works. I don't know.
Right.
I'm fucking selfishly winging this. I want to see people I love together.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's
Old Barn Customs is sick.
That's not out of the question.
We can
someday.
market the shit out.
Old Barn Customs is sick.
Right.
We're not done with Mark Riffe yet.
Money bags
out of the market, but like
money
I said,
bags is going to be real.
I would never come to work for any taxidermist that would say, "I'm going to send you 100 deer a year. I'm going to send you 80 deer a year. I'm going to send you 150 deer a year." I'm not doing that. You know what I mean? I don't want to do that. Yeah. I don't want to just be overwhelmed and. Because it is overwhelming. I mean, a lot of taxidermists burn out eventually because it's just repetitive, the same thing over and over every year. Yeah. Some do, some don't. And it doesn't mean I don't love it any less than anybody else. Yeah. It's just
you're being really honest.
Yeah.
He's been through the fire and he's seen it. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I love that. It's a good conversation that needs to happen.
It's a lot of work. And when you're not financially getting enough money for that product that you put out, then it really becomes a burden.
Yep, absolutely. Yep.
I mean, it's a lot of work.
It is. It's brutal.
Yeah,
I wish I could only put 10 hours into them. Holy shit.
Yeah.
And that's he's not off the number. I mean, I always have heard 10, 12, 15 hours, 20 hours you get into where like, hey, you're going to not make money. If you're putting 20 hours.
Well, a lot of people bitch about the price. And Mark, I remember I learned this from you, like working with you when I was laid off and stuff. It's like, well, what would you pay yourself an hour?
Yeah. Yeah.
You want me to work on this? It's like, you want me to do this mount for $200? Kiss my ass. Yep. What would you pay yourself an hour to do it?
Exactly.
And it's like, you tell people that, then it's like, well,
right.
Oh shit! I never thought about that.
Yeah, I'm not getting out of bed for $10 an hour.
Yeah. No,
you know what I mean.
You can go to Starbucks.
And, so that's why I don't care what Joe's charging down the street.
Fred.
I'm not Fred. I'm not paying Fred's bills. I'm paying my bills. You know, I know what I got to charge. I know what I'm putting in.
And that's what when I give these business seminars at these state associations, that's what I back into this. I said the first thing you got to know is what's your family budget. Mm-hmm. How much does your wife bring home? Do you have to have insurance? Mm-hmm. I mean, you got to back all this in, and then you got a bottom line. Okay, I got to make this much money. Well, now even if this is not a corporation, if it's an LLC or you're working on, still pay yourself every week. Mm-hmm. Don't take that money out of that. I mean, when the deposit comes in, put that in your savings account. That is your working line of credit. That is not your money. Mm-hmm. Put every dime that comes into your house into that line of credit, but then pay yourself once a week. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Give yourself a paycheck, and that is your paycheck. Rather, if it's a sole proprietor or whatever, still write and that is yours to spend on your bills. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But then, that way, because a lot of the guys get burnt out because they got this big deposit, mm-hmm. And in theory, say you charge $1,000 a deer head just for easy math, you take in 100, so you have that kind of money. You got half of that for deposit money. Well, in theory, I know guys that went and bought new trucks. Yeah. You get rich all with your deposit money. Yeah. Well, you can't do that.
Yeah. And you're not actually rich.
No, you're not actually rich. You're working. You're working off.
You're rich for right now.
Right.
And then you gotta.
You have to be able to look at your money, look at your finances, but you have to be able to pay yourself. You have to have a paycheck to give your wife or to contribute to your
to
household.
give your wife, yeah, exactly. Say that again.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. You got to be able to contribute to your household every day.
Yeah,
you know, and when I know some like Mark's, you know, he's talking an analogy, you know, having 15, 20 hours into deer. One of my very dearest friends is one of the best whitetail taxidermists I know, and he struggles because he financially struggles.
Yeah,
because it does take him longer than it takes everybody else, and he is that guy. And we've had these conversations. I'm like, dude, you can do an amazing quality piece in half the time because they hang it on the wall and they see it from 5 feet away, and you're doing something that you got to take a flashlight to go in and know what a deer looks like to tell the difference.
That's me. That's me.
You know?
I mean,
God bless him and God bless Mark for doing that.
Yeah.
But, you have to charge for that. If you're doing that kind of work, you
got to charge.
You're no longer an $800 deer head. You're $1,800 deer head.
Old Barn Customs by Mark Wright.
Yeah.
What did Austin say? Back to Life with Mark Wright.
Oh, yeah.
Dave said that.
Wow.
Spitting.
Yeah.
See? And you don't got to know the business shit.
Side hustle.
Yeah.
Look, imagine Mark just collecting money,
Yeah.
just down there doing what Mark does, watching UFC fights
UFC
in 2005.
Yeah. Right.
So what we did
That's what
every
we
day.
did. Yep.
That's how Mark and I hit it off. We're like watching fights. I'm like, damn, you're into fights too?
Yeah.
And
He's like, you like UFC? I'm like, yeah, buddy. every
BMX kid, MX
day.
kid,
Motocross.
worked out good. Guys, this was super fun. We're out of time. Appreciate you guys a lot. I'll put all the links to everybody's stuff. We'll see if we can get a Old Barn Customs by Back to Life by Mark Wright.
I like that.
That'd be all
I
good.
remember that.
That would be all good. I appreciate everybody coming. This was fun.
Yeah.
This was a lot of fun. Thank you, guys.
Thanks for
Thanks
the
for having
invite.
us.
Yeah.
I appreciate you and the platform you put us on. This really works out.
Love
good.
you guys. You guys are the best.
Well, we love you too.
So this is fun for me, man. I get to talk shit with a bunch of taxidermists, and I'm like the oddball.
You're not the oddball.
It's great.
You're the leader.
No, don't tell me that. My head's gonna get big. My next tattoo, I got to keep that self-esteem low, baby. It keeps me thriving.
There you go.
Gotta stay hungry.
How do we close this out, Sam?
Hey, give somebody a hug. Tell them you love them. One hug at a time. We'll make this a better world. God bless you.
Boom.